Hey, this is Kamatonga, Bullet Club original, OG, triple, OG, triple.
What's up? It's CBV, Chris Van Vliet, and you are listening to the Junkyard.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 13th installment of the Junkyard. Some people call that unlucky 13, but not here in the Junkyard. It's lucky number 13. And this podcast is hopefully one day going to be sponsored by what Dennis is wearing tonight, Blue Chew. Because we need that to get through this because we're pretty soft right now. Guys, I'm one of your hosts, Spencer Cantor, also known as number 11. Join the Dark Order. Throw it up, boys. All right, Dennis. For these people that don't know who the hell you are, and right now we're 13 episodes in, and we got like a major podcast network now, please tell them, who are we?
Well, first off, there ain't nothing soft about this guy right here. So I'm just going to get that right out of the way. And for those of you who are still living underneath the rocks and don't know who I am Dennis Day Jr., otherwise known as DDJ, the host of What Do You Say with DDJ. And real quick, before I throw it over to my main man and give the people what they want, I am also going to be one of three people co-hosting the official pregame show for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling show on April 17th, 2021. And you can also find my podcast that drops every Monday morning at 12 a.m. What Do You Say with DDJ?
Yeah, show that sticker.
Yeah. So now this is Jovanni. This is where you say cheap pop.
Cheap pop.
Well, I got to give the people what they want.
And what the people want, ladies and gentlemen, is me, El Guapo Too Hotty, Jovanni Too Hotty, who is exactly like my Eskimo brother, Big Cass, a $5 footlong that is not SAWFT soft.
Guys, I know before we started, we've having some technical issues, but I think we're going to have a great pod. But on this Friday night when we are recording, because usually we record on a Saturday night, but tomorrow we got the McGregor fight. It's going to be great. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk some wrestling with my boys.
I couldn't put it any better way, man. I'm ready to go.
I know. DDJ's ready to go, man. He's got his Chew World Order shirt on. Jovan rocking his recruitment shirt there. I got this new shirt from Pro Wrestling Crate representing the best tag team right now, the Good Brothers.
Hey, real quick, Spence.
Yeah.
Be careful. Let's hope that people don't see this on YouTube before they open their crates. Otherwise, they're going to bitch about having one of the shirts spoiled.
Well, if they haven't got their crates yet, that's their own damn fault. Like the Cowboy James Storm says, sorry about your damn luck.
Sorry about your damn luck, but you're not out of luck because we're about to talk some wrestling. And here's what happened this week in wrestling. All right, so we have had a jam-packed week in wrestling. We've had crossovers. We've had big upsets that no one saw coming. And guys, I think the biggest thing that happened this week, I saw everything but Raw.
Whoa.
Wow. That's the big development right there. The only thing I didn't see is Raw, but I watched Impact, I watched NXT, I watched AEW, and I just watched SmackDown before we recorded. So I'm good to go. So let's start with the first one on Monday night with a little bit of Raw. So whichever one of you gentlemen want to lead us off with that, I'll chime in when I want to.
Man, that we've been, probably me more so than the rest than you two, has been really critical of Raw lately. Again, I've pretty much been able to speak to my opinions. It hasn't stopped the WWE the fanboys from making their differences heard and stuff. But Raw actually wasn't that bad this week. I mean, there was a lot of good that actually came out of it. And just right off the bat, that promo that Randy Orton cut was just straight up, no pun intended, fire and stuff. So, I mean, I thought the mask was interesting. I thought maybe they might have, maybe jazzed it up a little bit, but you could see just around, where his eyes and stuff, you could see the signs that he had been burned. But man, I just think that we're going to see this Orton, like, whenever he steps back in the ring, that is just going to be like, you know what? I showed mercy one time. Look where it got me. So he's basically, I think he's going to unleash his inner Cobra Kai. And he's going to strike first. He's going to strike fast. He's going to strike hard, and he's going to show no mercy. And a Randy Orton who shows no mercy is a dangerous Randy Orton.
Oh yeah.
And just to kind of back up on the mask thing, man. Apparently, that mask that he was wearing is like the normal mask that burn victims would wear. So that's what mask is for. Yeah. Shout out to a friend of mine who was like, oh, wow, they use an actual burn mask. I'm like, what the hell is a burn mask? But apparently that's what that is.
Wow. I didn't realize that honestly adds an even like bigger thing to it, makes that even bigger because, I mean, we've been pretty critical about WWE and what they've been putting out on TV every week, mainly on Raw. But like I said, this was a great way to start the show.
Good episode of Raw. It was actually watchable for those of us who watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched everything else.
The one time Raw's good and you conveniently don't watch it, Spencer. Come on, man.
Literally, I'm sorry. I need my sleep, and it goes for 3 hours. And then by the time I watch it Tuesday, I need to watch Impact. I'm sorry. There's a lot of wrestling, so you're at least lucky I got most of it in.
For those of you who are not listening to this on your favorite podcasting platform, or even if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm playing a tiny little violin for Spencer right now.
Hey, it's important you get it all in, just not the tip, okay?
And we are gone off the rails.
Well, hey,
already.
This podcast is one day going to be sponsored by Blue Chew, so I just taking it from Conrad and all them guys.
Blue Chew, get more than just the tip. We're ready, fellas.
We're ready. All right, what else happened on Raw? Note.
Dusty Rhodes was all about hard times. Try some Blue Chew. It'll be all about hard times there.
You want to know about hard times, DJ?
That's my wife.
It's like the mic drop of all times. Anyway, getting back to Monday Night Raw.
Please.
We're going back into Blue Chew. We got some developments with Ric Flair and...
See, it's the perfect thing to be sponsored by what we talk about with Ric Flair, Daddy.
And
man,
what's her name? Damn, I forgot.
Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. She sort of interfered in Charlotte Flair's match with
Peyton Royce.
Shout out on the list.
Damn
both of them actually in that match. But
Shawn Spears and Andrade?
Yeah, I think I put Andrade in on a side episode, not an actual episode, like one of our bonus episodes.
Okay.
So for those of y'all who didn't hear the bonus episodes, Andrade, you made the list. I think it was after Charlotte came back and she had all of her. It could have been the results show when they won the tag title. Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we've got the list rectified and up to continuity, Lacey Evans distracts Charlotte Flair by coming out in a Ric Flair robe, man, and she looked good. I ain't gonna lie about it. She looked good. And then of course there was a backstage interview before that where Lacey Evans basically called the interviewer nasty for trying to insinuate that her and Ric Flair were getting it on or doing something else other than her just trying to learn from Rick. But I mean, hey man, once again, Blue Chew, Ric Flair, we're here.
Space Mountain, oldest right, longest line.
So yeah, they're developing that story, man. It looks like we're going back to Charlotte with her whole anger over Flair, Rick, her dad. I wasn't a big fan of it the first time they did it, with her kind of insulting him because the man's a damn legend. It's like Lacey Evans said, 16-time champion. He's earned quite a bit of respect in the wrestling circles, but if they do this as what they're trying to do, which is like an insinuated love kind of thing with Lacey Evans, I'm probably interested to see where it goes, but I'm not going to kill it yet. I'm going to let it marinate a little.
Well, the same year, and it's just because what was Ric Flair known for back in his day? I mean, literally, when he used to come to the ring, he would have a bevy of ladies with him all the time. So he's just, and I mean, pulling the curtain back a little bit, everybody knows Ric Flair is married. I believe he's on wife number 4.
Yeah,
I mean, he seems to be happily married and stuff like that, and that. So, but I mean, again, this is Ric Flair, the Nature Boy and stuff. So yeah, he's always going to have a beautiful lady by his side. I mean, no matter how old he gets, and I say more power to him.
No, Jovan, it's not 4, it's not 5, it's number 16. Woo!
I guess that's what happens when you're limousine riding and jet flying. They just follow you.
Wheeling and dealing son of a gun.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
So I guess we can move on from that because, I mean, nothing really else happened besides Charlotte getting the win over Peyton Royce, looking like a killer when she slapped in the figure 8 and refused to let it go.
Yep.
I think the ref even pulled her and she collapsed for a second but went right back into it. And then I was like, what the hell is the ref doing pulling her arm? Dude, you could hurt her like that.
Yeah.
But move on from there, DDJ. What else happened with Raw?
Great. I got to talk about I don't understand it with this whole thing now, because the next thing we basically got was a backstage segment with the Hurt Business and Riddle. And man, it's just, there's so many. This is one of the things that I don't understand. They made Riddle just, I don't know what they're doing to Riddle, but man, they just made him look like a complete idiot.
Yep.
I mean, he comes in there, the rest of the Hurt Business is walking off, Bobby Lashley sticks around, they're talking and stuff. And the segment ends with Bobby Lashley stomping on Matt Riddle's foot because of the sandal.
Yep.
No, he did stomp on his foot, but if you look closely, because I actually did see this on Twitter, he stomped on the ground, and they clearly showed it.
Yeah, but still, they just, regardless if he didn't legitimately.
I know, but you don't show that, but still.
But either way, it's just that segment just, to me, made Riddle, I get that they're trying to portray him as this Jeff Spicoli type character, bro, and bro nuts and stuff like that.
Broccoli.
The Hardy Bros and stuff. But I mean, come on. I mean, Matt Riddle
is a
legitimate badass, MMA fighter, and they are just making him look like this just complete idiot. I mean, he gets down the foot and then they're like, this fighter's gonna kick your ass, and and just, oh god, it's just, I don't know why they're doing this to Riddle.
Let's just jump right to that match, man, because we had the Hurt Business go against Lucha House Party and Riddle. And the weirdest pairing ever. Why is Lucha there with the bros unless they all smoke together? Who knows?
No, for me, well, I get it because I think the previous week, didn't the Lucha House Party get a win over Shelton and Cedric?
Yes, that's when they started having their fighting.
What it was. But again, yeah, it's okay. And this kind of also goes into my criticism of how the Hurt Business has been booked. I mean, you sit there, basically right after, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander get their long overdue win and get the tag team titles. All of a sudden, it's the moment they get that they start having who thought it was a good idea? Oh yeah, let's put the belts on these two guys, but yet let's start having them infight with each other at basically right after that. I mean, it makes no sense, and I just furthers my points. Basically, who's booking this crap?
Exactly. The Raw overall was a good night. It was a good night. There was a lot of good matches that covered up a lot of bad stuff. But that was definitely a low. This whole distinction between the Hurt Business with the tag team champions basically at each other's throats, tagging in themselves out, not wanting to really cooperate. These are the Raw tag team champions. Like,
Right.
come on, dude. They finally got the gold. This is supposed to be the Hurt Business going over, looking strong. And yet they just look like a bunch of guys who just can't get it together with MVP behind their, barking orders and like, come on, you guys need to shape up, cut it out, cut the shit. It doesn't make sense.
Well, see, the thing is to me, it's more, I think, Cedric stirring the pot than anything because, and yep. I don't think it's because he's doing it on purpose. I think he's kind of like that. That when you get a new job or like something, and you're like so eager to please like your boss, like you go a little over the top, and you'll step on your coworkers, feet, and
you got to look at meanness.
Striking like to me, but it's just they don't need this right now. These guys are supposed to be ass kicking serious guys, and just right now, it's just I don't get it and stuff. So, but I mean. That was really kind of like the low point of me, low point of the show for me, and that. So I got one like I think it was kind of a roller coaster. We started out hot with the Orton promo, then we got to that whole Hurt Business Riddle thing that just kind of took a low. But man, and unless there's anything you want to talk about, we sure as hell ended Raw on a very high note. In my opinion.
I'm gonna take it to at least two other places real quick.
Do it.
Take a drink now, man, and I'm sorry, but Retribution. Damn it. I'm liking Retribution right now.
No way.
I'm liking Retribution right now.
Jovanni.
Mustafa Ali comes out, cuts the promo on Kofi. How do you like it being at home? Now you know how I feel when you took my spot, when you went on and won the belt at WrestleMania. So what are we going to do? We're going to break your heart. We're going to break your spirit, and we're going to break your friend's body. And they go after freaking
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. I wanted to say Austin Creed. So they go after Xavier Woods. Yeah. And that whole beatdown of Woods in that match, if they keep up like this, and Mustafa Ali is able to do like this is the whole reason why he joined or why he created Retribution because of what was taken from him.
Yeah.
And we keep going that route.
Yeah.
I might be down with Retribution.
You know what? I'm going to piggyback off that and probably shock the audience. I'm actually agreeing with that. I mean, I like that. That's what I've been calling for this whole, for them to salvage this angle is to go that route to like, because it's true. I mean, Mustafa Ali, I think there was a lot of like truth and realism behind that promo.
Oh, you could tell he meant it because that promo, there was a lot of good promos on Raw. Randy Orton's promo to open the show, freaking banger. Mustafa Ali's promo, dude, I was hanging on every word. And like, for me not to like the faction and to be that bought into that promo, there was a lot of feeling in them words.
Guys, if you're listening to this right now on a podcast, man, Spencer literally had his jaw dropped for like the past like 2 minutes while Jovanni and I were talking. So I think he's genuinely shocked by our views on Retribution right now.
Literally, yes. My jaw just dropped, and it wasn't because my computer froze. It literally was. I was holding that because I'm just like I'm in awe of what I'm hearing right now. Because about 2 months or so, whenever Retribution was like starting, we were like burying them, put a stick of fork in them. They're done. Now there's Retribution for Retribution.
I see what he did there.
You gotta love wrestling. You can hate something one day, and then 2 months later, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah.
Right. All right. What else did you have, Jovanni? No, you say two things. That was one.
I think you're gonna end it with talking about one guy, so I'll do this other one. We had a pretty decent episode of the Dirt Sheet with Miz and Morrison, which very underrated sideshow. I really like what these guys do when they're in the ring together for this whole little dirt sheet.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the legend, the man, the myth, known as Goldberg. But it wasn't really Goldberg.
Gilbert.
To all you longtime fans, coming fresh off of his heart attack, they got the one and only Gilbert, who looked real good, and he was doing his Goldberg faces, and I was like, man, this guy just had a heart attack, and he's, pumped up. He's out there, just horrible.
Oh, Gilbert.
Probably whatever payday he got.
It was good enough for him to put on the Speedo. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But the unsung hero of that entire segment, Gilbert was good, but the mini Drew McIntyre killed with his little sword in the entrance, the kilts, the horrible accent that he turned off. He was like, "Oh, what was that? Not good?" And
the wig,
the ass crack, dude.
Yes.
That segment, man, Jesus. Like we said, this was a good Raw. The high spots that were high on this episode were really good to carry the crap.
Right. And the one thing I want to, because I know we're going to try to kind of condense our talking about week what happened this week in wrestling. I want to talk about the end of Raw. Man, I am totally buying what they're doing with Alexa Bliss right now.
Okay, hold on. Pause for the cause. You're going straight to Alexa Bliss?
Wait, what? Why? What else is there?
What do you mean, what else is there? I thought you were going to throw this match in first before the big end.
What match are we talking about, Jovanni?
We're talking about a match that makes no sense and why it had to happen. Everybody else is calling their shot saying, hey, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be in the Rumble. But one man has to prove that he's worthy enough of being in the Royal Rumble. So that leads to Ricochet taking on the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yeah. Okay. I will totally admit I dropped the ball there. That was just phenomenal. And man, that ending alone.
The ending alone of that match, if you have not seen it, holy crap. I saw it from like 5 different angles because they put it online. It blew my mind how athletic the Ricochet is to be able to put himself in the perfect position for the ending.
And I mean, you couldn't have. That couldn't have come off any better than it did. And again, for those of you who did, like Spencer, who did not see what happened, he literally launched Ricochet into the ropes. Ricochet bounced off the ropes and basically right into a Styles clash.
So, you know how they hang them out to dry on the ring rope, on the top rope, and they're just like hanging there?
Yeah.
He went to do that, but Ricochet hit the top rope, bounced straight back into a Styles clash.
Yeah.
It was freaking phenomenal.
And it's a perfect display as to that. Again, great match, but man, Ricochet deserves so much more than what he's been given.
Yeah, he does. I honestly, even though he says it's not true online and it's all bull crap, by the online dirt sheet community, I really don't see him being too much longer in this company because the man is putting on great matches. The people are going with him, but he's losing. And then something that was so trivial as a win and you get into the Rumble match, how stupid is it that you're not going to put one of your best flyers in the Royal Rumble? Especially with Kofi Kingston being out, we could have had somebody that could have done Kofi's annual "How the hell did you survive that elimination?" But now we get nothing.
Right, and I was if you didn't bring that up, I was actually going to go there. Talking about Kofi probably not going to be in the match because of his jaw injury and how Ricochet could have easily taken, and he still may actually be in this match. I mean, I believe as of earlier tonight when we're recording, I want to say I counted when they were going over all the people who qualified. I want to say it was like 13, I think, men are officially announced for the Rumble.
Yeah, but it would break storyline if he's in and he lost the match to AJ. But WWE doesn't care about storylines, so who cares? It looks like Spencer just saw it.
Yeah, I literally just saw it because Ricochet was like going to the outside ropes to do something. He bounces off. He gets caught in Styles Clash 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's
insane. Literally, they are misusing Ricochet, and it pisses me the hell off when I see shit like that because that dude is athletic. Now, we'll get to SmackDown in a minute, but we saw another guy who impressed the hell out of me, but we'll get to that soon.
All right, DDJ, take us home on Raw.
Man, like I said before we kind of went off into the match, I am totally all in on what they're doing with Alexa Bliss right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know there are some people out there that are probably going to, and I kind of thought this too. I think it was at the expense of making Asuka look weak, but basically the kind of vibe that I got from this was the same vibe that I had when we saw the whole Abaddon versus Sheeta storyline, where the women's, the champion, like, looked like she was genuinely like, afraid, whatever of, the demonic crazy, challenger or her opponent, like in both situations with, Sheeta being scared of Abaddon and Asuka clearly showing that she's, not exactly comfortable. I basically say she was scared of Alexa Bliss that night. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it makes me wonder if maybe the Fiend is around, but maybe he's basically he's taken possession of Alexa Bliss's, body and stuff, because I mean, they basically went, from one Alexa Bliss, snap of the fingers, the lights go out, comes back on, and she's just totally everything's darker. I mean, she had the black lipstick on and, whatever. And man, she took some stiff looking kicks from Asuka and she just stood up, and it's just like, it's just, they registered no pain. I mean, she has basically become the Fiend.
Let me tell you, and you're not supposed to say his name, DDJ. Don't say his name.
You already said it 2 times. Don't say it one more. We're good.
Don't say his name. And let me tell you why this works. Let me tell you why this works so much more than it did with Abaddon and Sheeta. With Abaddon and Sheeta, the fans knew who Abaddon was, but Abaddon hadn't really been able to build herself as that undead, unkillable, like supernatural wrestler, right? Go to WWE, this is established. This is in the lore. This is in the history books, who he is and what he does and what let me in means.
Yep.
It is already known what the otherworldly powers of Bray Wyatt are. And now you're starting to see Alexa Bliss take over that. So to be genuinely spooked by somebody having the same kind of mindset, the same kind of like power as Bray Wyatt, you're going to be freaked because he's already established in his universe, everything with the Playhouse, with the Masked Man, him, everything is established. And like Alexa Bliss said in the Playground, her mini segment in the show, he's there. She said he's here. He was sitting in the swing next to her. You don't say his name. You're not allowed to say his name, but he was there. And that's given us this slow turn of this evil Alexa Bliss, the pain side of her, because she has the play, she has the pain.
Yep.
This pain side of her, man, I'll be very, very surprised if they don't put the belt on her. She looked really good.
I definitely think we're might be heading that way. But I mean, but you know what though? In all honesty, I don't think Alexa needs the belt.
Oh no, she doesn't need it.
Mm-hmm. But
she'll probably get it.
I would, and I'd be okay with that because, like I said, I'm all in. I honestly think she's like she's done since she's been on the main roster. Alexa Bliss has, I think, exceeded everybody's expectations as to what she's going to be. And I mean, I think she's really shown this last year what she's capable of. I mean, since she's been paired with Bray Wyatt, she's just been amazing. I love what she's done with the character. and that. So yeah, I just thought that was just so cool. I mean, because it's like basically, I really think he who shall not be named has. I'm not gonna let you guys get on me for saying that name again. But she's literally been possessed, and I think she's doing a great job with it and stuff. But yeah, just overall, I thought Raw, while it had it's not so good stuff, it had a lot of good, and it's better, one of the better Raws that we've seen in a while.
And while we're on the topic, Ryan Cabrera, you're on the list.
I thought Ryan Cabrera was on the list, and if he wasn't on the list, you're stupid.
Just doubling down if he wasn't.
Well, I mean,
so that's so good. He made the list twice.
Well, hey, you can put her play and pain side both on the list.
There you go. Both sides on the list.
There you go.
All right. Well, we spent extended time talking about Raw, so it must have been a great show. No other shows were great this week, right?
Oh,
nope.
Nope. There was actually quite a good week in wrestling.
I know. That was a joke. Let's since we watched SmackDown, we'll say that for last. We'll just kind of go in order. We'll go to Impact next. So the big thing out of Impact, Good Brothers. We'll kind of go out of order. But the first thing I have is like the Good Brothers came out and they were saying, there's nobody really for us. We're the best tag team. But then all of a sudden, Big Money Matt and Private Party come out.
Yes.
And Private Party are making an appearance on Impact with Big Money Matt. And then there's a match set up where, before this, Chris Sabin was asking, hey, where's our rematch for the tag titles? But Alex Shelley wasn't there. Yeah, Motor City represent, other way. And then he was like, I don't have a partner, but I got this guy here. And then the Cowboy, James Storm, comes out, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to take you guys on. We'll go for the tag titles. But then that's when Private Party come out, and then Big Money Matt's like, no, that's not how this works. So he thinks Private Party should have a shot at the Impact World Tag Team titles. And then we get the match later in the night. It's Chris Sabin and James Storm versus Private Party. And also, we got a little ringside action with Tony Khan and Jerry Lynn, who joined ringside. That's actually Impact's first fans in a while.
Yep.
But, just kind of the match was good match overall. But the main thing that came out of it was Jerry Lynn actually got involved and I think hit James Storm or one of the two. And Private Party go over and are your number one contenders to the Impact Tag Team titles. And that match will take place at No Surrender in February.
Gentlemen, how wild would it be if the first Impact belts be taken over by an AEW roster member who were the tag team titles and not the heavyweight championship?
I wouldn't say that'd be the weirdest thing, but I definitely think that heavyweight title would have been the first one to go. I don't know if they'll take it off the Good Brothers yet, but I possibly could see them doing it, but I don't think it'll happen.
I don't either. And I mean, obviously, and kind of going back, a few years when the NWO started running roughshod over WCW, the first title they claimed was the WCW World Heavyweight title. And that was obviously, Hollywood Hogan winning that. And obviously, and I think we all are in agreement here that Kenny Omega winning the Impact World Heavyweight Championship is going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion. Yeah. But I mean, I think anytime a company comes in and takes a title from another company, that's big time stuff, because you're it's basically saying this invading company is superior to the company that's being invaded. And a lot of times when you do these invasion type angles, you want, that's how they always start out. I mean, you look at the invasion angle with WWE. Started out, while granted they didn't have their full roster, it started out with WCW initially, or the Alliance looking strong, winning the inaugural brawl at Invasion and stuff, and then we all know what happened there. But the funny thing is I see a much better showing on both companies' ends in this case with that angle. But Yeah, I was legitimately surprised when I saw Big Money Matt and Private Party show up. I was not expecting that. And again, this is how you do an interpromotional angle. This is how you get talent from one company and you showcase it on your program, because you're not only giving, people that maybe only follow one show an opportunity to see some other guys they may not necessarily seen. It's just this is doing nothing but helping both companies, and I love it, and I want to see more. I want to see more AEW guys on Impact. I want to start seeing some AEW guys other than the Good Brothers show up on Dynamite.
Yeah. I think that's coming. You mean Impact, by the way, on AEW, not AEW on AEW.
Yeah.
For those of you that are watching or hearing the audio version, DDJ needs to put his Stone Cold Steve Austins away and drink a few Steve Weisers.
And he did it slow motion, like to give you a peek behind the camera. That was the issues that we were having earlier before we started recording. So deep cut, DDJ. But
run over the bus.
I hold nothing back.
Well, you guys went straight to the jugular on Impact, straight to the main event. So let's talk about some of the other things that happened, because Impact actually was a decent show.
It was.
It started out with Eric Young, the world-class psychopath, maniac, whatever you want to call him, going after Rhino in his quest to cure the pro wrestling business. He said that the wrestling business has a disease and he's going to attack the disease. And it looks like he's going to do it by trying to take out every wrestler that he thinks is part of the problem. And God,
part of the design.
This match, dude, is exactly why I'm a big EY fan. It had everything from limb targeting to good mat wrestling, good strong wrestling. Rhino is a vet who's been in this game for a long time. He knows how to make people look good at the right times.
Yep.
And then the finish comes with Eric Young basically about to break Rhino's leg in half. And, I mean, what other statement do you need? This is the same way he took out Rich Swann when he was champ. Yep. They went straight for Rhino's leg.
Yep.
And, I mean, this faction, Violence by Design, they're gonna take over Impact, man. Y'all give it some time. Let this one work over. Eric Young is taking over.
Right. One other thing I want to talk about is we finally had a resolution of this whole who shot Johnny Bravo story. And
so who shot Johnny Bravo, DDJ?
Well, I guess apparently it wasn't Larry D this whole time.
I knew it.
Set up. And he was set up by the now no longer with Impact. That would be Taya Valkyrie.
She was taken to jail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, she's either going to basically, and I love this little promo at the end with Tommy Dreamer because he was throwing in the jabs, and you
every single company name basically.
Because basically here, it was when and it almost had to remind me of the way she was taken out of the Impact zone or whatever they called it, where they do their shows. It kind of reminded me when Bobby Heenan left the WWE, when the way he was taken out, by Gorilla Monsoon. Yep. And then just Tommy Dreamer cracked me up with this promo, basically it's Tommy Dreamer, AC Romero, and Johnny Bravo, and they're all wondering where she's going to go next. And basically, and Tommy Dreamer with the hilarious promo, he goes, it could be either at a Jacksonville prison, a Stanford maximum security prison, or, and this was one place that all three of them hoped that she did not go, was they didn't hope she didn't have to serve her time in Baltimore. And basically, those of you who maybe missed the joke, the Jacksonville prison is AEW.
Of course.
Stanford Maximum Security Prison is WWE.
Right.
And then the serving time in Baltimore.
Was that ROH?
Yes, because that's where they do their that's where they're doing their shows out of now and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, best of luck to Taya Valkyrie with wherever she goes. Please don't let it be WWE.
We do have a Rumble coming up.
It's true, and her husband is in the WWE, so very well could happen.
If
They've
the
been
only way,
for a while.
what's that?
They've been apart for a while. Like they haven't been on the same show for quite some time.
Yeah, basically since John Morrison left Impact, they haven't been on the same show. And I mean, I guess as long as maybe if they put her with him, I'm okay. But I just don't feel like she's going to be properly used there. Like I said, honestly,
she doesn't have the diva look they like.
No, exactly, and that's what scares me because if you've seen Taya Valkyrie, you know she can go.
She's a beast.
Yeah, she's a beast and stuff. So best of luck with whatever she does and that and stuff. So I mean, but yeah, that was great. That was a pretty fun segment, and I'm actually finally glad. It sounds like we're done with that angle.
Yep.
And that's so. But your Jovanni, your girl Susan had a decent showing of herself.
Susan and Kimberly, boy, they took out Jordan Grace and Jazz, which even though I like Susan having a real good match, like you said, she looked really good in the match. Her and Kimberly, they functioned really well together. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is a match that really shouldn't have happened. As I stated, Jordan Grace and Jazz at Genesis probably should have been Jazz's swan song because they left on a real good match. We know she's already on the road to retirement. That probably should have been her last match.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw them together. It's like I thought Jazz was done with Impact.
Yeah,
that caught me out of left field.
And that so, and then one other thing too, we got a little bit of bonus footage after Hard to Kill. Rich Swann was being interviewed, and then out of nowhere, man, just you know what, Jovanni, Moose is your guy. Take it away.
Very simple, gentlemen. Moose told Rich Swann during the match, I have your back. We are partners. Mm-hmm. As soon as that bell was done and it got the final ring, Moose attacked Rich Swann in the back. He made it a point to beat that ass.
He whooped that ass.
He did. He
did. And he made a point to tell him 100%. I told you from bell to bell.
Yep.
So now you know this isn't personal once again. This is just business.
Yep.
And I mean, just to kind of finish out the thought on Impact, since we've pretty much done everything else, Rich Swann's comeback later in the night, kind of chewing at the Moose. I don't know. I'm hyped up. I'm getting hyped up for this pairing. I really, really, really want to see Moose go over, but it kind of gives me a little bit of fear since we know Kenny Omega is probably waiting in the wings. But I can also see Moose going over and having Omega Moose because of how Hard to Kill turned out. So I don't know, gentlemen. What y'all got?
I definitely, and I'm starting to think more along coming to your side when we were talking about this whole thing with, will Kenny Omega be the belt collector and what will happen? I'm actually, the more I'm starting to see the way that they're presenting this is that I can definitely see Omega taking the title off of Rich Swann because I think if they really want to put do something with this angle, Kenny Omega needs to win that Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Yep. And then if they want to make an even bigger star, which is what I think these companies are both, trying to do. And I think they're doing a great job with it. If you want to make Moose like the man, you have him be the one that basically gets the belt off of Kenny and essentially drives Kenny out of Impact.
There you go.
And so I'm starting to come around to your way of thinking there, Jovanni.
So Dennis is starting to come around to your way of thinking. Jovan, I'm all in on Moose. Dude looks like a freaking star. He came out to the ring. That entrance music is great. He comes out, looks like $1 million. Is actually like when he first debuted and I saw him in Impact, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I mean, he's good in the ring. He kind of does good. He's lost some weight. He's leaned up. He's looking great. He looks like a champion. That belt on him looks amazing. I want him to win the real Impact title, but hold off. Let Kenny take the belt off Rich because there's already story there with a Hard to Kill because Kenny pinned Rich at Hard to Kill. Let that play out. And then Moose comes in, Mr. Impact, and beats Kenny. Story writes itself.
Oh yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, you know what? I'm all in on this right now, especially with Moose. He's just grown leaps and bounds. And I mean, like I said before, when Jovanni and I did we did the reaction show to Hard to Kill, I said that to me, the performer of the night or the star of the night was Moose, and he's continuing. He's just he's at that point where he's about ready to launch himself into the upper echelon of like the of the superstars.
Oh, are you meaning he's about to go to the moon?
To the moon!
I thought you looked at it too.
I was waiting for it. All right. So I think we've talked enough Impact. And speaking of to the moon, let's go to NXT. Fantastic show this week.
Absolutely.
I'm calling this the Swerve Show. What the hell show?
Literally, that is the best way to say this because there were, I think, 2 or 3, actually 3 matches. All the tag matches, maybe even the main event. I don't know how you were seeing that going, but literally all those tag matches, I was like, okay, it's totally going to be this other team. Nope, it's this team. Yep. And then the women's team, the one that we all thought was going to go that way, didn't even think about Io getting involved in that. Goes, okay, let's get into it. First one, we had The Way versus Kushida and Leon Ruff, our favorite wrestler here on the Junkyard.
Especially Jovanni.
I'll give you this, man. Leon Ruff can go. He's good. One, Kushida, please do something with him. I know they're probably not going to win this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, but please do something with him. He is amazing in the ring. He's a freaking legend. Stop wasting Kushida. Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory really gelled well in the ring. Yeah. Austin Theory looks beefy as hell, and he definitely probably will get a title down the road or something. But he's definitely a body guy. That portrait they did when they did like the weight thing, very accurate. He's definitely put on muscle. But Johnny Gargano and them, like, they were all gelling, high flying, high impact moves. I thought The Way was going to go over, but Kushida and Leon Ruff get the win. So we're talking about swerves. Did this one, was that on your swerve list?
Hell yeah.
Yep. I think
there was no way on paper we would have gone against The Way. Yeah,
it seemed like the logical way, but unfortunately, I don't think so. Probably, and I heard this on maybe a few other podcasts, but they said like, oh, Kushida and Leon Ruff will go over, and then The Way will get involved, and then that's maybe how like Johnny Gargano and Kushida maybe will have a match at TakeOver or something for the North American title, which Kushida will not win.
Now, if they ever do a big TakeOver show with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory in the match, do you ever think they'll get the band Styx in to show them the way?
Wow. Wow. Oh, that's too much way for me.
That was terrible.
No way.
Terrible. Wait, hold on. Charles Barkley's making an appearance?
That's terrible.
Speaking of terrible, Jovanni's impressions.
Wow.
I feel like we're going to talk to Shaq tonight.
God, no.
I think we definitely need a Shaq appearance tonight. All right.
We're gonna see when we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we're gonna be probably talking about Shaq next week. So
that's what we are.
But I agree. Yeah, I thought that I was surprised that that Gargano and Theory lost. I definitely think this would be one of those. This is like that. If you ever do a bracket for the NCAA tournament,
it's a bracket buster.
And yeah, exactly. You always I always seem to have this one weekend. It's usually like the second round where like I always lose at least one or two of my Elite Eight teams or whatever. And this was like that day where like a lot of people probably had their brackets busted.
DDJ, this was freaking Loyola Chicago or Loyola Illinois coming out of the Sweet 16. That's how big this bracket buster was.
Wow.
They had no business moving forward. When Loyola went in, I think it was either a year ago or 2 years ago, that freaking screwed me out of a lot of money.
Oh, when they went to the Final Four?
Yes, because they went to the 4, bastards. That's what this was. This was that big of a bracket break.
Woo!
Yeah, that was would you say that was the equivalent to a 16 seed beating a 1 seed?
This was very much the equivalent of the Mavericks losing as the 1 seed to the 16 seed for the NBA people.
But speaking of brackets being busted, when we were talking about this before we started recording, what about Imperium versus Lucha House Party?
Yes.
I think that was the one that out of all three of these matches we're going to be talking about, this was the one that probably shocked me the most.
Women's match. But yes, I was definitely like saying, oh yeah, Imperium. And they were hyping it up. Like Imperium went to the semifinals last year. They looked like a well-oiled machine. Like, and all those dudes can go. And Lucha House Party, no disservice to them, and they're great in the ring. And once they did the angle later in the night, it kind of makes okay, now it makes sense on that one. So that one wasn't. It was shocking, but once they did, it's like okay, that one makes more sense.
They kind of explained it,
right?
Yeah.
When Santo Escobar and his whole crew came out, and of course, they hit whatever those two won, Joaquin Wild and
Raul Mendoza.
Yeah, they won, and then they came out and then had their little brawl, and then some other dude from 205 Live, which I guess apparently is still a thing.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So, yeah, Imperium loses to Lucha House Party. But then at the end, we had an appearance from someone we have not seen in a while. That's Alexander Wolf.
Well, if you haven't been watching NXT UK, you haven't seen him in a while because he's been over there.
Right.
And yeah, that was actually really shocking and kind of makes you wonder if a certain leader of Imperium is not far behind.
God, I hope so.
Because I actually kind of like this because Imperium is an awesome group. I think they're all like this group.
Yep.
And I think that if they're coming together, because like it's like seeing Alexander Wolf was kind of like, like I'm gonna like the big boss, like he's kind of almost seems like he's the second in command of this group.
Yep.
Like, you have your leader and Walter, you've got your enforcer and Alexander Wolf, and then you got like your tag team or your other guys like with Eichner and Bartel.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if, like I said, we saw Alexander Wolf. He's over here now in the States. Could the NXT UK champion be pretty close behind?
An Imperium takeover would be amazing.
Oh, don't even say that to me. That'd be great.
Imperium versus the Undisputed Era.
Well, didn't that already happen?
Well, not like on a full 4-on-4.
Yeah, not a full 4v4.
Okay,
But,
I know they did a little bit of that.
And we could also finally get that match that I think we were supposed to get before the pandemic hit. We might be getting a champion versus champion. We could see Finn Balor versus Walter finally.
NXT.
I think Spencer just soiled himself.
No, I'm just imagining how great that match will be. But
that was Spencer's vinegar face. If you know, you know.
no, Jovan, say it right. It's the O face.
O face.
Oh.
Oh man, we're just shouting out the league. Eskimo Brothers, O face. Oh, such a
Office
cool
Space.
Office Space.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the women's match, man.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, because we'll say that. Let's talk about the Karrion Kross beatdown, because that's basically what it was. Karrion Kross is a freaking monster. He comes out to this amazing entrance, like literally probably has one of the best entrances in all of WWE. Comes out with Scarlett Bordeaux in this tight-ass leather suit with this weird shit on her face. It doesn't even matter. She can wear whatever. It'd be fine. But he literally wrecks this other dude, Shantae. I'm not even going to bother with his name. They were in the bracket. But now they were in the bracket. And with the main event, we now have Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher are taking their place. So possibly could be a dark horse, possibly to win it, because, most of the winners that have won this thing are usually like an unliking pairing. So possibly could be the winners. We'll see. But yeah, Karrion Kross looks like a monster. He's getting that belt back this year. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And
Scarlett Bordeaux could wear anything. And I mean just nothing at all. And I'd be fine with it.
Well, again, this podcast is sponsored by Blue Chew. It is
BWO.
That's right. It's probably what we would definitely all need if we were in the presence of Scarlett Bordeaux. All right.
I wouldn't need it.
Blue Chew when you don't want to be SWAFT.
All right. So let's get on to the women's match now. And honestly, this was my shock of the night. It was Casey Catanzaro and
Caden Carter.
Caden Carter. She used to be something else, but then they changed her name. Caden Carter, who are like the best of friends. They do TikToks and stuff together, versus my pick, who I thought was going to win this whole thing, Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Now tell me that's not a badass team to begin with.
When I heard that pairing, I'm thinking, oh man, that's what you call a team.
That's a team, right? And they put on a great match. And Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter, like, they gel so well together. Casey Catanzaro at the very end, she did like this weird move where she went up to the top, she flipped, landed on her back. I didn't even know if that was really part of the move, but she did it. She's grown leaps and bounds from when she started at the Mae Young Classic. Definitely has improved for sure. And then Caden Carter is great in the ring too. But the story of this match was Mercedes Martinez is on the outside. She had been calling out Io Shirai. So I'm kind of mad at myself. I didn't even think about this and thought Io would get involved, but Io gets involved, takes out Mercedes Martinez, puts her through a table. It's Toni Storm to try to win. She doesn't. She gets pinned. So Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm are eliminated, and Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro shock the world. And believe me, they did shock everyone because no one saw this coming. So I know we've been talking about swerves and everything, but I'm going to give props to NXT for keeping people on their toes. I kind of like these unexpected outcomes. It busts our brackets and stuff, but it's great not to know the outcome. So I applaud NXT for doing what they did.
I agree with that 100% and stuff. I like a good swerve, but I like a good swerve if it's not being done for the sake of just doing a swerve.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jovanni, I got a question for you. Ricochet, is he on your list?
Who's Ricochet with?
Casey Catanzaro.
Ricochet, my man. Big Dick Trev. You are on the list.
Ricochet, the man who's getting abused by WWE, but definitely not at home.
Let me go ahead and write that one down.
Wow, you didn't know that one. Actually, I have another one, and it was back on Impact, and I meant to say this to you. TJP, he's someone that you should look to put on the list. He is, what was her name?
Aria Blake.
Yes.
Yeah. They just announced that they are expecting.
That's right. So that one you might need to look up, and then we can officially get that one down the road. But let's see. And then we also talked about already the Santos Escobar kind of promo. He had a guy from 205 Live. They're going to have a title match next week. Santos Escobar is going to beat the crap out of him next week, basically. So that's move on from that one.
Real quick, actually, before we go on to the main event, we did have Finn Balor basically go to William Regal and he said he wants Pete Dunne. And he wants to go through that whole group. But William Regal is like, I'm not going to sanction a 1-on-2 match. You need to go out and find yourself a partner. So he goes to a man who he's had some battles and some wars with him. I'm sure you can definitely tell that these two respect one another. And we're going to see Finn Balor team up with his opponent from TakeOver 31 and New Year's Evil, Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, buddy.
The NXT Tag Team Champions, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. And, man, that is going to be a fight.
It's going to be a barn burner.
It's going to be a freaking banger. There's no other way to describe that. When that happened and he pulled in that locker room, I'm like, holy shit, we're getting O'Reilly and Finn together. Yes. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get a genuine bona fide slobber knocker.
Speaking of slobber knockers and fights, let's talk about that main event.
Going to the fight pit.
Man, that was just – I love these fight pit matches. I mean, they are – like, I love the first one with Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle.
Yes.
I think I like this one even more. Maybe, or not by much, because both are really good. Yeah. And in my opinion here, my hot take for this show, this was the best match all week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so just because it was hard hitting. I mean, and it was what it was. It was a fight. These two went at it. They held nothing back. It was brutal. It was hard hitting. And, both men probably woke up feeling pretty sore on Thursday morning.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I mean, they went out, they gave it their all in that. And I just, like I said, I love this match. I hope we see more of these fight pit matches because they are phenomenal.
Okay.
Oh,
Pump the brakes real quick. I love the fight pit matches. We've only had 2 of them so far, and they've all involved Timothy Thatcher, and as we know already, he's won both of them. Don't oversaturate the product with too many fight pit matches. Save them for like feuds that need like a big blow off or something that's very personal, like maybe like 1 or 2 in a year. That's it. Don't go like, oh, Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We're going to have an NXT takeover fight pit matches. It's just fight pit matches. No, don't do that. TNA tried to do that with Lockdown, and you saw where that went.
Oh, yeah. That's
But no, I just, like I said, I love that. And yeah, I just was, like I said, that was the best match I saw all week.
Yes.
You know what? It is. If it's not for me, it's top 2 for sure. I have to go back and really think about it, but that was a hell of a show. And then, or a hell of a match, excuse me. And that leads to them 2 teaming up, which kind of, Tommaso Ciampa has had this happen before. Weird oddball pairing that ended up being really, really good.
Yeah.
And then when they split, it was really, really sad, and they just had really, really good matches with each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm down, man. Maybe we kind of get this little thing with him and Thatcher, just like we had with him and Gargano.
Yeah. And before we move off of this, I just want to say, like, I didn't really know much about Timothy Thatcher before he came to NXT. I knew he had like a big lineage in the UK and everything, and he was doing. I think he actually worked with like Walter and all them.
Yeah, he worked with Walter, and I think he was part of Walter's group over in the UK.
Yeah,
Ring Conf or whatever it was known as.
I think it was Ring Conf. Yeah,
I believe he was a part of that group.
Yeah. So from what I've seen of Timothy Thatcher, dude is like a straight up like brawler. Like, don't mess with him. Like, the more I'm seeing of him, and especially now with Tommaso Ciampa, I'm starting to get back on NXT. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how him and Tommaso Ciampa work in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. And then I think they had their match tonight on 205 Live, which they more than likely won. So it's going to be very interesting to see that pairing. So NXT, honestly, it might have been my show of the week for sure.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. It was my show of the week.
It was definitely the show of Wednesday night. It is possibly the show of the week.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's another show on Wednesday, which we are very high on usually. Not this week. AEW Dynamite, the other Wednesday Night War show, kind of missed the mark this week a little bit. There were some good parts about it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there was, but it just overall, I just felt like
it feel like the other ones.
Yeah.
It felt to me like this was we're going to use this show to set up, the next big show and stuff. It was just kind of like, we're just going to throw this stuff. It felt more like a filler show, I think, is whatever.
Right. That's how I felt about it too.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, they have to build up to Revolution, which is going to be now in a month and a half.
Okay, hold on.
Great as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So there are like reports saying that Revolution, it was going to be like February 27th, I think that was a Saturday, but now there's reports because I guess like it's maybe like a boxing fight or something that's happening that night. They're moving it a week later, and now it's going to be on. They might do it on Saturday, possibly Sunday, March 6th or March 7th. I kind of maybe see why they're doing it because like the fight, they want to try to get as many buys as possible. But for myself, and I think you, Jovan, as well, we were actually going to try to go to this show.
Yeah.
But now, like, if you put it on a Sunday, that just messes everything up for us. Yeah. So we're being a little selfish, but honestly, I like the Saturday pay-per-views. I don't want it to go to Sunday. Like, you can leave WWE to do, like, their Sunday things, and people will still watch this. But I like the Saturday pay-per-views. Like, when Impact puts theirs on Saturday, it's just easier because then you can stay up because usually most people have the weekends off and you kind of just like, and then after this you can do like after shows and talk about it and stuff, whatever. And Sunday people, outside that don't actually like work can do it on Sundays and stuff. But for us, it's hard. So it's just like I think you would do a lot better if you put it on Saturday. So I get the move. I don't want to agree with it.
See, and I understand. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's been made officially yet that it's going to be on a Sunday. I think there's still some debate up in the air and stuff. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I like these. I like the WWE pay-per-views on a Sunday, but I like these. Seeing these AEW and Impact pay-per-views on a Saturday because, like I said, you have that extra day to where you can get, especially when it's a show like Hard to Kill was. You have that extra day that you can, to kind of decompress and unwind and get your feelings out about the show, much like Jovanni and we like to do when we do our post-game shows, whether it's me and Jovanni or all three of us and stuff. It's a great way to kind of get to kind of just decompress from the action and just kind of get our feelings out there and stuff, and having that extra day is a really good thing. So I'm all for the Saturday pay-per-views and for AEW and Impact, and like I said, I'll watch either way. But I would much rather see an AEW and Impact stay on Saturday nights with their pay-per-views.
Yeah. And I mean, I get the move wanting to stay off of a Logan Paul fight or whatever the hell that dude's name is.
Jake Paul.
I keep on messing his name up. I really don't care about the kid. He knocks out Nate Robinson with the punch that, honestly, my advanced age probably could have avoided, but that's neither here nor there. And mostly now that I've been working out, doing a little bit of this DDPY, getting ready for you, Mr. Jorge Conti. You thought you were going to get off of this episode without a single mention? No, you listen here, you jabroni. When Jovanni Too Hotty sees you in the streets, in the ring, at the one and only Talking Shop of Mania 3, you better be ready for the 4 words, the 4 letters that make the one biggest word in professional wrestling, and that is WORM, worm.
Why did you go?
Because I can't that one up by itself. I've got like freaking.
Oh my god!
But anyways, worm. But back to my point with that Paul dude. He's a draw because everybody wants to see him get his ass whooped.
Oh god,
and
yes.
When it happens, the whole internet will rejoice, and when it doesn't happen, the internet has a brand new meme. So. Yeah. I get wanting to counter program him, and you don't want to lose your buyouts to him because everybody likes a shit show, and that's what that is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, like Spencer said, man, we wanted to go to this pay-per-view. I would have been willing to fly in for it, and flying in a Sunday is a lot harder to do, to fly out the same day, or you can fly on Friday night, easy. Fly back out Sunday, pretty easy. But doing a Sunday, Monday kind of thing, you're kind of making it to where I have to take an extra day off of work, which is going to have to suck if we do. So, AEW, please keep it on Saturdays, man. I like having the ability to fly into Jacksonville, go from the airport straight to the hotel, go from the hotel straight to Dailies, go back to the hotel and fly right back out the following day without getting really in contact with anybody, having to worry about COVID because I'm not really jacking with anybody. But it throws a wrench in the whole plans if it's on a Sunday because now I have to take the extra day off of work. So, Saturdays, perfect. Sundays, there's a reason I don't go to WWE pay-per-views. I'm just going to say that.
There you go. Point said. All right, let's just get into AEW now because, again, some good parts of the show. We'll talk about those now. And that, first off, I honestly think this is probably one of the best parts of the show. And that was -1's birthday celebration. Throw it up, boys. Join the damn Dark Order. All right, so we come out, and, everybody does a happy birthday. And Johnny Hungy, John Silver, he does the 1, a 2, a skid-lid-lid-lid. God, I love that man. He can do no wrong right now. And they do the happy birthday.
BTE champ.
Huh?
He's still the BTE champion.
Yeah, he beat his buddy Alex Reynolds on the last episode of BTE in amazing fashion with that beer pong with the bottle caps. Gotta try that, see how that works out. Hard with the aerodynamics and stuff. So congrats to Johnny Hungy for retaining there. But yeah, so they do the song, and then you had Chaos Project come out, Luther and Serpentico, and -1. They showed a promo of him making fun of Luther's face, whatever. And then Luther comes back and is like, "Well, nobody likes you, whatever, childish stuff, whatever." So then they start brawling and everything. Then Hangman just flies out, and he just does this amazing crossbody off the top of the stage onto everybody. And I'm just like, damn, that's some real cowboy shit right there.
Yep.
That's probably going to be about the nicest thing you say about Hangman Page. So
yeah, we'll get to that soon. But overall match was great. John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Hangman Page just all gel so well together.
Yeah,
and I forgot. Yeah, Colt Cabana too. He was in there too. Colt Cabana. Sorry, but seriously, all those men, they gel so well together. They pull off the win because, of course, the Dark Order has to go over a -1's birthday. And then there's a spot towards the end, or at least the end of the match, where I think it was Serpentico. Doesn't he get put through the cake or whatever?
no, it was Luther.
It was Luther. Okay, yeah. So Luther gets put through the cake, and then
I think Serpentico took the Singapore King shot from -1.
Right, and then and -1 says one of the best lines. He's like, "My birthday was 3 days ago, you idiot!" Pow! Pops him in the head with a cane.
And then he also brought out the papers too.
Oh God, Brodie Lee Jr. We at PWJ, the Junkyard as a whole, we love you.
Yes.
You are going to do amazing things. You are already doing amazing things, but when you grow up and you enter the ring, nothing but success is going to come to you. So can't wait for that.
It's basically, and I kind of think of this line from Cobra Kai when you guys are all caught up, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And if you're listening, you haven't seen Cobra Kai, just step away for the next minute or two, whatever. But go watch Cobra Kai. It's amazing. Go ahead.
But it's kind of like the line that Kumiko says to Daniel towards the end of his stay in Japan. And that's basically, you put good out into this world and it'll come back to you. And I think we're going to see that with Brodie Lee Jr. And Pro Wrestling Tees, if you're listening, can we please get that shirt that he was wearing on the site?
Seriously, why do we not have a -1 shirt? Somebody made a fantastic comment in our Pro Wrestling group when we posted about the -1 birthday. They're like, hey, I said I want a -1 shirt, but somebody took it even further. They said, hey, let's get the -1 shirt and let's have all the money, all this money had been going to Brodie's family and everything, but have this go specifically to him, for his college fund or anything. But I'm sure that's going to already be taken care of. But if it's not, go ahead and have that for a college fund or something.
Wrestling school fund. Something.
Seriously, just something. Well, he's definitely going to go to wrestling school because that's definitely going to continue unless something happens. But I definitely see that happening. But seriously, Ryan, if you're listening, put the -1 shirt up. Anybody in AEW, if you find your way into this, or if you have any association with AEW or Pro Wrestling Tees, guys, put it up. Also, since we're at it, please put up a North Carolina shirt. Come on. Jesus. That's money right there.
Hunter Rain or North Carolina shirt. We mean a Kenny Omega. North Carolina.
Yeah, we need to wear a North Carolina shirt that everybody can be proud of.
Shots fired at Hunter. Hey, I actually bought one of your shirts, Hunter, so be nice.
But
I actually
speaking of North Carolina, we got to see maybe what the kind of place that Kenny Omega lives in.
Whoa, hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. We haven't even got to the end of the match. Well, we got to the end of the match. Let me take some time here and speak to Hangman directly. Hangman Adam Page. This is number 11.
Kick back and listen.
That's right. Hangman Adam Page. This is number 11 of the Dark Order. Join the Dark Order. We don't like what you said on Wednesday night. We had all these banners. They said, congratulations, Hangman. We got dancers for you.
He said yes.
He said no, DDJ. This man.
That's not what the screen said, though. The screen said he said yes.
Well, John Silver fucked up. So we're going to hit him with papers later. But... literally, Hangman, I get why you said no. You were like, I've been a part of the team. I've done like the thing with the Elite. It didn't really work out well. I'm just going to be a loner. But seriously, why didn't you join us? It made all the sense in the world, and now you're going to have some match with one of the Ziggler brothers on AEW next week. But seriously, we can bring you to prominence again. We can help you get back your tag titles. We can help you even go after the world title. Hangman, do the right thing. Join the Dark Order. We are the hottest faction in pro wrestling today. You made Anna cry. Do you know how hard it is to make Anna cry? She beats the shit out of Stu. I don't appreciate that. Hangman, join the goddamn Dark Order.
Ooh, passion.
Man, I think that's about the most fired up I've seen Spencer, and I'm not even referring to how fired up he was before we started recording.
Hey, I took that Blue Chew.
Please, I hope it doesn't come across on the screen what the results are, because I don't need to see that.
All right. Not such a good shoot.
All right, DDJ, take us to the house in North Carolina.
Man, that was pretty entertaining, and Kenny's got himself a nice little crib down in Florida, and I'd be anxious to see how much he had to pay for that exquisite painting that was hanging over the fireplace.
DJ, for our listeners and viewers, please tell us, what was that painting of?
It was basically Kenny Omega and Don Callis, and nothing but no t-shirt, a pair of jeans. But it would look like it was it looked like Kenny Omega, I would say, pretty close to accurate. But I've got a sneaky suspicion Don Callis does not have that kind of body.
Whoa! Penalty on the play, my friend. The hidden hand that is Don Callis.
It's the invisible hand. Penalty for getting the tagline wrong.
You know what? The invisible hand of Don Callis, whatever the hell he is. Damn it to hell. That was all him.
What that is like that episode of The Simpsons. Again, Spencer wouldn't know this because he doesn't watch The Simpsons. It's where Homer Simpson was looking in a mirror, and you got this, Homer Simpson as he is, and he's looking in the window, and it's like he's looking at a reflection of him as if he was like some muscular buff dude with the dancing pecs. That's basically how I compare Don Callis really to Don Callis in that painting. Which, by the way, if you are a huge fan of that painting, Pro Wrestling Tees, hey, you can get yourself a poster-sized print of that painting for, I believe, around $25 or $30 at ProWrestlingTees.com.
Right, and if you don't want to get the poster, you can also get that on a T-shirt.
And if you don't want to get that poster or that T-shirt, you might as well go to the Pro Wrestling Junkies page on Pro Wrestling Tees, since you're already on the website, and pick up one of our 3 shirts that are out right now.
Wow, well played, Jovanni. Well done.
Thank you. I tried.
But one of the things though I kind of want to with this, it's kind of as entertaining as it was at the same time. I don't like how this is making the Young Bucks come off as, because it just seems like to me is because like they started out the show, the Young Bucks were pissed that they got screwed over the previous week. They thought they were going out to wrestle with Kenny Omega, and they got screwed over. But yeah, it's just like, Don Callis being the guy he is, smooth things over, or at least so we thought and stuff. But I just, and maybe it's just me, but I just don't like the way that the Young Bucks came off looking at like this, they kind of came off looking as like these, you're in that toxic relationship where, like you go in and you try to give your heart to the person that you want to be with, or, whatever, but they just basically treat you like shit, but you keep going back for more. And I kind of almost feel like this is where it's going with the Bucks. And I know the Bucks are so much better than this.
But that's kind of the whole storyline between the Bucks and Kenny, man. Even going back to Japan, you didn't always feel like the Elite, which was the Bucks and Kenny, took precedent over the rest of the Bullet Club. I mean, yeah, at times you had the Civil War aspects where, they broke off and they were their own thing, the Elite. Mm-hmm. But even now, man, you kind of see Kenny doing that and flirting with the Good Brothers a little bit more, kind of pushing the club over the Elite. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I think this all stems from, and like I said, storytelling. You got to watch out for the clues. Kenny goes bad. The first time Kenny goes heel, he tells the Bucks, "You're either in or you're out." And he drove off by himself. You didn't come in when I gave you the ultimatum. You in or you out? You stayed. So, hey, everything that's happening from here on out, it's on you.
I just didn't like it. I just didn't like how it made the Bucks come off and look. But I mean, I'm sure, you know what though? AEW has given me every reason to have faith in their long-term storytelling, and I honestly don't expect this to be any different.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a big payoff. I feel it.
Yeah, they just look like stupid baby faces
that want to be heels, but they're not heel enough for the heel.
Yeah. Right. Shout out to BT.
Yeah.
All right.
So what else are we got to talk about with Dynamite? Because there were some other things that happened.
So I just was looking at it again. We had Cody versus Pretty Peter Avalon. Literally, I don't even want to spend time on this. We will talk about the one thing that happened during the match. It looks like, Cody's going to get the best of it. But then Jade Cargill comes out. That woman is jacked.
Oh, yeah.
But she comes out and distracts Cody. Peter hits him in the balls. And then, there's some good back and forth and everything. But the ending of the match is Cody puts Peter Avalon in the figure 4. And he's going to hit him in the face. But Peter taps out. So Cody goes over.
Yep.
It took like 2 segments, and literally they could have saved that for anything else, because I was bored watching that.
Yeah, that match definitely dragged.
So I don't think we need to spend any more time on that, because the next part was actually good that came after this, or at least So, we'll talk about that now. You had the return of Jon Moxley to action. He took on, I literally just saw the name.
He forgot Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
No, Nick Camaretto, I think.
Camarado or something like that.
Yeah, he's one of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes' students. Dude looks good. I think he might have a bright future on Dynamite if he gets signed. But they were saying like, oh yeah, this is the only guy that would step up and challenge Jon Moxley. He got some offense in on Moxley, but literally Moxley is like one of your best wrestlers. He should have squashed this dude. I don't think he should have struggled find somebody else or something. It took like a chokehold to beat him. But I mean, dude looked good, and then Moxley had a great promo at the end saying if you're going to war, it starts through me. So maybe Moxley might show up on Impact possibly. With everything going on. So we'll see. But Jovan, you kind of disagree with my thoughts. Talk about him.
A little bit, man. If you're looking to not only build up this one person, Camarado, and you're looking to put some validity into your Nightmare Factory training,
right?
You want one of your students to step up to the man, who in AEW everybody knows Jon Moxley is always going to be the man.
Right.
He's not champ right now. Kenny's champ. That's fine. Kenny did what he did to get the belt. But Mox is the man.
Right.
Have one of your students have the balls to go up to him, and not only have the balls to challenge him, but he goes in there and puts on a good match against Moxley.
Yeah.
not only are you building up that kid for a possible future, because if you remember Powerhouse Hobbs, God, when he debuted, it was also the same kind of deal. He was
Right.
going to get somebody, he took the loss, but he looked real good in doing it. And now we have Powerhouse Hobbs and Team FTW.
Yeah,
This
buddy.
kid goes out there and has a strong showing against Moxley. So not only is that A, building into the Nightmare Factory is actually making good wrestlers,
Uh-huh.
but B, saying that we believe in this kid because he's going against the former champ, the guy who's basically the man of the show, and he held his own until it was time to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So, number one, they established the kid. Number two, they established the factory. And number three, they just reminded everybody that Moxley is still that guy. So,
And I couldn't agree with you anymore on this, Jovanni. Well said. And this match accomplished the one thing that every single match should do, and that is Jon Moxley win over, but this new guy, Nick Camarado, got over.
exactly.
Thank you, Bully Ray. All right. Then we're going to move on to... Well, we're going to move on to... What?
Private Party.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a new look to a new feel and new take on Private Party.
Yeah. So you had Big Money Matt and Private Party versus, I think, was a great pairing. That was Top Flight and Matt Sydal. Again, literally Private Party definitely are the future, but Top Flight are the future of tag team wrestling. Them and Private Party, both of them are the future of tag team wrestling. Matt Sydal he's getting kind of towards the end of his career. He can still go, though. He can definitely still go, that's for sure. But he's kind of getting towards the end. He's not as young as he used to be when he's back in his Evan Bourne days. And then of course Matt Hardy is definitely starting to wind down. But those two teams are money, and when and now, especially with what happened like during the match and after the match, might be getting that sooner rather than later, possibly. Mm-hmm. So the big thing that happened with this, Isaiah hits. I don't remember the guy at the Top Flight. It'll come to me eventually. But he hits one of them and hits him with a chair, and then Mark Quinn's like, "What?" But then he does the shooting star press 1, 2, 3. He picks up the win. So then at the end of the match, they're like, "Dude, why'd you do that for?" And then Private Party attacks Top Flight and, Matt Sydal. And it looks like, hey, Private Party, along with Big Money Matt. Well, Big Money Matt already was, but Private Party has turned heel. And
you know what? I think this is really good because I like this new attitude, with Private Party, because I honestly they're very impressive. They're very flashy in the ring, but it's just I think it was the right time to maybe reboot these guys and give them a new look, or however you want to put it and stuff, a new attitude, and that, because I think it's going to showcase a different side to these guys and stuff. So I'm definitely on board with this heel turn.
All right, guys. I was anti just heel party, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Private Party being faces. That changed Tuesday night on Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
When Private Party came out with Matt Hardy, I kind of got an inkling that maybe there's something there that these guys being heels. Because these guys literally invaded a different company. They became the number one contenders. And at that point, I'm saying, okay, I'm feeling it. They're gonna turn these guys to go all in with this Carney that they have managing them in Money Matt.
Carney.
And then finally on Dynamite, we get the actual full turn with Money Matt. So heel Private Party, even though I am very apprehensive because I love Private Party as faces, I think this can work.
Agreed.
I'm doubling, tripling, whatever down. I'm kind of on board with this. I've kind of been hesitant with the Matt Hardy and Private Party, but with the new direction they went with the Big Money Matt, the contracts and everything, it was kind of building to this. It's like, hey, do whatever it takes to win. They kept doing that, and then they finally did whatever it took to win. So I'm very interested to see where they go with this story for sure. So I'm on board.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I got a few more things to talk about with AEW. Sting comes out to the ring to congratulate the TNT champion, Darby Allin. He's like, yeah, man, you did a great job. Our TNT champion, Darby Allin. It's like, okay, why do we need a congratulations? But there's always more to it. The more to it came with Team Taz. And he's, I'm sick of you guys. I'm Sting. You got involved in a match with Darby. Brian Cage would have beat Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And then we get a match proposal, and basically Darby Allin responded, and we just officially got confirmation, I think yesterday, that it is going to be Team Taz represented by Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus TNT champion Darby Allin and Sting in his first match in like 6 or 7 years since that horrible Seth Rollins match. I think he had at Night of Champions where it messed him up.
Night of Champions 2015.
Thank you, walking encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge. But yes, this, guys, you have no reason to worry. It is not going to be a real match. It is going to be a cinematic match. There is absolutely no way it's going to be a wrestling match. Or if for whatever reason it is, Sting is going to do very little. This dude cannot go anymore. He's like 61 years old. He got hurt doing the buckle bomb thing. He's going to do very minimal, or they're at least going to make him look strong in the cinematic match. That being said, I'm very excited by this match, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too. I'm in agreement. I don't think they've officially come out and said yet that it's going to be a cinematic style match, but it almost has to be, because if you really want to, properly showcase Sting, this would be the best way to do it, because if it's a regular match, definitely expect Darby to carry the load. But again, I think this whole angle is basically to get Darby over even further, and I'm okay with that, because like I said before, we did our award show a few weeks ago, and Darby Allin was my breakout star of the year, and this basically is continuing that. Like, Darby Allin is on his way to being like a major player, even more so than he already is in AEW. So I think this match is going to even go further along with that ideal or concept.
Oh no.
You guys have such high hopes, and I don't.
I'm a glass half full guy, so
I'm half empty on this one, I guess. But there's no way, guys. There's no way. Number one, there's no way this is going to be a cinematic match, because I just don't see them doing that for this match. I think this is going to be a match that Sting is probably going to go in there and hit somebody with the bat, and that might be the extent of what he does. We may be able to get a Scorpion Deathlock just for shits and giggles, but I have a bad feeling that this match is going to prove all those Sting haters right, that he shouldn't be in there. I'm more than willing to be surprised, but as of right now, I'm not seeing it.
Okay, fair point.
Fair assessment.
Yeah. So hopefully you're wrong, but there is in the back of our mind, this could prove all the Sting haters right. So hopefully it doesn't, but we'll see. All right. So got a few more things with Dynamite here. We'll blow through them real quick, or at least one thing, and then we'll get to the main event, because that was actually very entertaining. That was honestly, if the Fight Pit match wasn't the match of the week, I would probably put this as the match of the week. I love the triple tag team match. But so you had the replacement for what was it? It was Layla Hirsch and Penelope Ford, but she replaced somebody.
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose. Thank you, because I think she either got COVID or was in contact with someone with COVID.
I think she was in contact with someone.
Okay. So yeah, she got replaced with Penelope before. Then that, set up, had Kip Sabian, Miro, and their butler, Charles Taylor, come out into the ring. And then you had Orange Cassidy sitting ringside, watching everything. Match was good. Layla, she's good for what where she is right now. And then Penelope has gotten better in the ring for sure. But then Penelope goes over, and then they got the wedding with her and Kip at Beach Break in 2 weeks. Yep. And then of course you got the thing with Miro and Chuck Taylor, and then basically Miro was like, "Yeah, tell we're your best friends, whatever." And then Orange Cassidy was like, "Yeah, whatever." Honestly, I don't know about y'all. That segment went over like a wet fart.
Yeah, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't overly impressed with it, this. And like I said, since he's shown up, I really, for the most part, have not been a fan of the way they booked Miro since
not at all.
I really hope that, and I fully expect, and I think it's going to start after this wedding.
Yeah.
That let him be the monster that I think all of us want him to be. Yeah. And stuff. But I mean, yeah, I've not really liked the way that Miro's been booked. I mean, he's one of the very few things I think AEW hasn't seemed to have gotten right.
Okay. So you guys were the shining hope on the last segment with Sting. I'm going to be that for here. So, anytime Penelope Ford is in the ring, you are welcome, gentlemen. So, we are not going to bash any of her matches.
No. That's not what we're bashing.
Very talented.
She damn right she's very talented.
And Kip Sabian, if it hasn't been said, you're definitely on the list.
Oh, he's on the list.
He's already on the list.
Oh, yeah. Him and Miro both made the list last time. But either way, gentlemen, I just wanted to start going in hard with Penelope Ford and what a great talent that she is. Once again, the Junkyard sponsored by Blue Chew. Go in hard every time. Don't ever get your foot long SWAFT soft. But Miro, guys, come on. He was in the E. He knows what it's like to be misused. And right now, it's like he said, he's having fun. It may not be the monster story that we're wanting because we know what he can do. But now, he's having fun. He's getting back his legs underneath him because he's been out for a while.
Right.
And once he finally turns that corner, which I feel like is going to happen at the wedding, that's going to be your monster. Let it come to you. Let him have his fun. But afterwards, everybody dies.
Oh, so we're talking about Lance Archer now?
It just fit.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. I'll let it breathe. We'll see what happens. I definitely think the wedding is going to be a big turning point for sure because it's a wrestling wedding. Something big and crazy has to happen at wrestling weddings, especially because this one's going to be on the beach.
Yep.
So we'll see what they do with that one. But let's get into it. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about here with AEW, and that is the triple tag team match with all members of the Inner Circle, minus Wardlow. So you had the team of MJF and Chris Jericho. They come out like a mix of Judas and MJF's theme song. It's okay. It works. And then, of course, you have Santana Ortiz, Proud and Powerful. If it wasn't proud, it wouldn't be powerful. They come out. Great song. And then you had Sammy Hagar come out. Love that name.
How cool was it that they even got Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, even do a shout out for that? That was awesome.
That was great. But okay, then we got into the match. Guys, all these guys are amazing. Chris Jericho can still go. Probably needs to cool it on the lion salts because it looks like he might have missed this one.
Oh, man, that was bad.
Oh, that's the match of the night right there. It's like, dude, I understand. Like, you're thinking, it's like, I can still do the moves I did back in the past. I would probably take that one out of the repertoire. Just saying.
That's the first time I've seen him miss it that bad because he's done it recently.
Yeah, but there was that one time I think he did it like back in the past, and if nobody would have done something, he would have like lost his head or whatever.
Yeah, Kurt Hennig basically. I think that was he had a match with Kurt Hennig, and I think he even says it like that regularly that Kurt Hennig basically saved his career because he could have been. If it wasn't for that, he would have been really badly injured, I think, or something.
Yeah, you save that for like the ricochets and the AJ Styles thing. Still kind of do those still, but overall, great match. All these guys are great in the ring. Sammy Guevara looks like a star. He's out of that whole group. He would probably be the one that's going to shine the brightest when they break up eventually. MJF too. Don't get me wrong. Like the promo abilities is great. And he played it up. At the beginning of the match, it was like MJF with him, but then he tagged in Chris Jericho, because he didn't really want to get involved, kind of stay away from that. But yeah, just overall, my thoughts on the match. Great match. These guys all have amazing chemistry, but in the end, Chris Jericho and MJF go over and are now the official tag team of the Inner Circle. So we'll see where that goes, especially because, Santana and Ortiz were supposed to be the tag team. So little probably dissension coming here with the Inner Circle. So we're not done with that storyline quite yet. Everybody was all buddy and everything, but nope, it's probably going to get worse. So maybe the Inner Circle breakup might come sooner rather than later.
I liked the match. It was fun.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on this one.
Wrong team went over. I mean, there was a lot of different ways you could have had this one end to have what at least felt like the right team winning. I feel like Jericho and MJF were probably the two that I really didn't want to see win this match. Name alone, Sammy Hagar had, I would have loved to see them win it just because of the name. It would have been hilarious. And Sammy, like you said, is the future.
Yeah.
Once they split up, he's going to be shot to the moon. Now,
to the moon. To the moon.
Santana and Ortiz. What are we doing? These guys are tag team specialists. They've held tag team gold in every promotion they've stepped foot in.
Yes.
They were brought in to be what the Inner Circle is fighting over right now.
Yep.
There should have been no question about them winning this match because, dude, that's what they do.
Exactly.
But they want to put over MJF and Jericho, so that's how it went. My only complaint of the show was that. What do y'all think?
I agree. I mean, I love Chris Jericho. I love MJF, but yeah, I agree. Really, I mean, if there was any time to really get Proud and Powerful over and to have the fan base take them seriously,
this would have been it.
Yep.
This would have been the time, and that so. But I mean, it was a good match. But yeah, I agree. I think it would have benefited Proud and Powerful more. To win this. I really hope, just because I think they have the coolest tag team name, I really hope that this isn't the last we see of Sammy Hagar.
Yes.
No, I think we're going to see more of them down the road.
I want a Sammy Hagar shirt, by the way.
Oh, you'll probably get that for sure. So don't worry.
I'm not sure, so who knows?
So MJF and Chris Jericho go over, like basically cut to black, like they are running out of time at the end. But I totally agree with you guys for sure. I think Santana and Ortiz should have been the team that went over. They could have done just this dynamic with MJF and Chris Jericho and done their thing, got their shit in the ring, and then Sammy Hagar, of course, they could continue on after. But literally, ever since Santana and Ortiz came on, they had their match with the Young Bucks. Like I said with Private Party a few weeks ago, what have they done?
They haven't done anything.
Yep. And honestly, the only thing they've really done is they finally got action figures coming out, and they actually look really cool. Yeah, I know they did the Santana one. They haven't really shown the Ortiz one, and no official photos yet. Jeremy, where are official photos, man? WWE just dropped some great photos, and they look great. Give me some of those. But that's it for AEW. We still got another show to talk about with that. We just watched about 2 or 3 hours ago, and that was SmackDown. And honestly, this is the first SmackDown I've seen in quite a while. And guys, I was thoroughly entertained.
Was a good show.
It was a really good show. We start off with the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. He comes out to the ring with his advocate, Paul Heyman. He's talking about, how Kevin Owens inserted himself in the match, how Adam Pearce, pulled that shit, saying, oh, yeah, I injured my leg. Now I'm going to get KO to be in the last man standing match. And then Roman's like, oh man, I got this back injury. I'm carrying the weight of this company on my shoulders. Yep. And I'm just give it to me. I'm loving the heel Roman. And then of course, Adam Pearce comes out and he's like, okay, that's enough of that. You got to stop. And then Roman just gets in his face. He's like, man, I'm tired of you, man. And then Paul gets in his face, and then, a little back and forth there. And then there's kind of like maybe a little miscommunication or whatever, but not really, as we see later towards the night. But then Paul Heyman gets in Adam Pearce's face and says, yo, I'm from the streets. I'll take care of you. How about it's Paul Heyman versus Adam Pearce in a one-on-one match tonight? So then our main event at the time, because as we learned last week, card subject to change, it was Adam Pearce versus Paul Heyman, which we all knew probably wasn't going to stick. Because Paul Heyman later at the night, he didn't come for a fight.
Has he ever come for a fight?
No.
Yeah, I would have been interested to see him try.
I think it would have been, but I mean, I think it was again, it wouldn't have been much of a fight. I think just because, I mean, Adam Pearce hadn't had. I don't know when the last time Adam Pearce wrestled a match, but he obviously he looks like he keeps himself in pretty good shape still. So
yep.
So it really wouldn't have been much of a contest if we had gotten Adam Pearce versus Paul Heyman. But like you mentioned, those words, card subject to change. They came back to bite Adam Pearce in the ass tonight.
Well, I mean, it also came back to bite the other person that replaced Paul Heyman in the ass too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it's really interesting and stuff. Like you said, I'm really excited for the Roman versus KO because again, they have not disappointed us with anything that they've done, be it the match they had at TLC or any of the promos or anything. And I fully expect this to be just as good, if not better, than what we've seen so far from these two guys coming up at the Rumble.
You know what, gentlemen? Y'all keep every time we're doing a show recently, all night, y'all have been rushing straight to the finish when we open up a show. It's like you guys are.
It wasn't me.
It's like you're shooting your load too early. And if you need help with that, guys, you can go ahead and get the official sponsor of the Junkyard, the Chew World Order. Blue Chew will help you get through all your chews. So Blue Chew, hit us up.
Sorry, Jovan. I'm sorry we're jumping the gun tonight. But hey, since we're talking about Blue Chew, let's talk about the women's tag team match. That was actually, before we get to that, Sami Zayn came out to the ring. He handcuffed himself about like the first hour. He was just there with, Sammy's the rightful Intercontinental Champion, has a documentary crew or everything. And he's just, huh?
It was a peaceful protest.
It was a peaceful protest. Yeah, no buildings on fire or anything. But then we got to the tag match. It was the Riot Squad with Billie Kay, apparently, with against Asuka and Charlotte, the women's tag team champions, because that's the thing still. Overall, the match was good. Riot Squad, they have great chemistry together, but the big story of the whole match was Billie Kay kept getting involved, and it actually cost Ruby Riot the pin, because she had Asuka, for the 1, 2, 3 for sure, but Billie Kay was getting all involved and everything, and then of course Asuka hits a move, and then Charlotte hits natural selection, 1, 2, 3, champs go over. So, and then there was a segment, I think right when they came back from commercial, the Riot Squad were pissed, Ruby Riot especially. And, Billy Kay was like, oh, I'll do all these impressions and everything, which actually were pretty funny. But yeah, Riot Squad wants nothing more to do with Billy Kay. And honestly, since this is my first time watching SmackDown, I didn't even know that was the thing. So
well, it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I love the Riot Squad and stuff, but come on, man. Billy Kay went through all that trouble to get them both spots in the Royal Rumble match, and this is how they thank her.
Literally, you can just declare for the Royal Rumble. Oh, wait, nope. Some people actually have to fight for matches.
Yeah.
That's God. They really need to establish rules about all this crap.
So, I think my thoughts known on Billy Kay. I think they need to figure out what they're doing with her because I at least halfway like the Riot Squad, and she's killing them for me.
It's just in Billy Kay, it's just I did not like it when they split the Iconics up, but I really feel like we've seen more out of Billy Kay than we have Peyton Royce and stuff. But yeah. I don't get what, like, it's just the more they do with these two, it just further just exacerbates, or whatever the word is, it just makes me think that much more. Why did they even split the Iconics up? Because together those two are gold.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what they were? They were iconic.
Oh, Spencer.
Next match.
I would rather hear Jovanni Shaq impersonation than hear that again.
Well, DJ, you're in luck. Shaq will be here next week, so just get ready, because Shaq said that Shaq's going to be here next week, and he's going to talk wrestling, and he's going to say that, I talked to Tony, and Tony said that it was okay, so I'm coming back next week, DJ.
Wow.
I want to know why all of a sudden Shaq feels the need to speak in the third person.
I wish I could tell you why Shaq does what he does. It's a anomaly.
Shaq is an anomaly, man.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about Shaq next week. But hey, let's get back into SmackDown. So the next thing we had up was Daniel Bryan comes to the ring, and he's like basically saying, I've done everything there is you can do in the WWE.
Yep.
Except win the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
That causes Cesaro to come out. He's like, no. You're not winning the Royal Rumble, Daniel. It's going to be me, Cesaro. And then he's like, okay, Daniel's like, hey, you know what? Let's scrap. Takes off his jacket, and Cesaro's like, no, that's not happening. Then he issues an open challenge, and then one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Dolph Ziggler, comes out. And he's like, you know what? I'll take you up on that open challenge. So then we get Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. I actually had to walk away for a little bit, so I caught a little bit of the match. From what I saw, it was a pretty good match. Daniel Bryan was on commentary. Then I think Cesaro went over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And man, I every time I see him do the swing, it makes me wonder how he can do that many rotations, or times where he swings the guy around and basically walk away like nothing. I mean, if I did that like 3 or 4 times, I'd be stumbling on the ground, and if I did it a few more, I'd probably throw up whatever I had for lunch or something, because I don't deal with that like that kind. It does not take much to get me dizzy, and I don't deal with dizzy well. But I don't know how Cesaro does that week in and week out, and basically just basically shrug it off.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
that's a great way to describe him. He's not human. He's a Swiss cyborg.
I thought PCO was not human.
No, he's not human.
but no, this was a really good match, and I mean, it seems like, and this is one of the reasons why I like SmackDown as much as I do, is because I feel like they're giving the guys that can actually go in the ring a chance to actually go in the ring. I mean, we've been seeing that lately. We saw it with Shinsuke Nakamura during the Gauntlet match. We saw it with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan last week.
Yep.
We saw it again with Cesaro and Ziggler this week. So I feel like that they're giving all these guys that can work actually a chance to shine. I mean, whether or not it's going to lead to something, knowing WWE's history with booking, probably not. But I mean, it's nice to see that, these guys, even maybe every once in a while, but they still get a chance to show what they can do. And I just hope we get to see more of this.
And when was the last time Cesaro hit that finisher, man? I felt like I hadn't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since they had the neutralizer.
Yeah.
I think he beat he did break it out last week when he beat Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
So
I feel like I hadn't seen it in a while.
yeah,
All right.
but yeah, that was I like that match. So
Okay. Let's get on to what I thought was one of the most entertaining parts of the night, and I think I found a new guy. Guys, we finally have a name for Carmella's sommelier, Reginald. Reginald. So it was Sasha Banks versus Reginald. And then, of course, now we're going to get Carmella versus Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble. But that was a stipulation. But Sasha has to face Reginald. So I actually did so the match, starts. And it's like, okay, Reginald's about to get embarrassed by Sasha Banks because, she's way more talented. She got abs for days. Before we move on, Jovan. Sasha Banks is, I don't know if she's married. I think
they're married.
Okay.
She's married.
Sasha Banks is married to one Makazi, who has been on the Up, Up, Down, Down channel and does the costumes for WWE and mainly Sasha Banks. So, Jovan, I ask you now, is Makazi on the list?
Makazi, my man, you are on the list.
Wow, you were pretty emphatic about that one.
You know what? I knew she was married. I just couldn't remember what his name was, and I knew that he did the costumes. So he's one that should have been on the list for a while now, but he's on the list.
All right. List rectified. But so this match starts.
Rectified or e-rectified?
E-rectified. And once again, for those of y'all at home who don't remember, that our official sponsor of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Junkyard is the one and only Blue Chew with the Chew World Order. If you're having issues making your little fella feel big again, make sure you go ahead and reach out to Blue Chew. They'll make sure you are not soft.
Oh my god! Literally, that was the best one of the night. And guys, just let me clarify: we are actually not sponsored by Blue Chew. Maybe one day, so I don't want that to be taken that way. But yes,
take all these cuts and send it to them and see what they're missing.
If Conrad and Bruce didn't say enough on their podcast about Blue Chew and stuff, I don't know what we can cover, but we'll try. Okay, so let me get back into this match before Dennis loses it and he talks over me again. Okay, so we get into this match. Looks like Reginald's probably not going to do anything. No. This mofo starts flipping. He starts jumping. He just starts going absolutely apeshit in the ring. And I'm just like, holy hell. Like, that literally was my shock of the night. It's like, damn, Reginald can go. So then I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, he's probably like a wrestler or something, which he is. So his name is Akeem Young. He used to be a Cirque du Soleil performer who was part of the Performance Center draft class about a year ago. So they really haven't done anything with him, but that's why he is like crazy, flippy shit.
Is he in relation to Akeem?
Akeem the Dream?
Akeem the Dream, yes, sir.
The African Dream?
Dream.
I don't think there's any relation.
I don't think so either.
But
and before you say it, he's not related to Hakeem Olajuwon either. So
okay.
For what it was, the match was good. Reginald, I'm taking a phrase from you, DDJ. Sasha went over, but Reginald got over.
Yeah, but I don't. It was kind of funny because did Reginald get any offense in?
Not really.
Okay.
He didn't put a meaningful move on her, but he touched her a lot, so he wins in my book.
Amen to that one, brother. All right. So after that, we move on to the IC title match. Big E versus Apollo Crews. For what it was good. They were doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Sami Zayn, he's been all night at ringside. He has the handcuffs. He comes in, he Helluva kicks Apollo Crews, then he Helluva kicks Big E.
Yep.
So it looks like we're probably going to get a triple threat match with Big E, Apollo Crews, and Sami Zayn possibly at the Royal Rumble.
I'll be down for it.
I would be too, because I thought this match is good. I want to see more. I want to see more from Apollo, because I really feel like he basically needs a character change similar to what we saw with Private Party. I think he needs, because it's not working. His character it's not working right now, and he needs something, and I think there's more to what we saw from him last week when he was sitting in the locker room or the office with Roman Reigns, and I really hope we get to see something as a result of that, because that could be what Apollo Crews needs to kind of kickstart his career, because he's uber talented.
Yes.
He's got a good look and he's got a great moveset, but it's just he needs something different. He needs a change, and I think if they go through with this change that I just discussed, I think this could possibly salvage his career in the WWE.
Oh
Yeah. Apollo Crews is the perfect indie wrestler because they don't really need a character, but for like the main shows, he ain't gonna survive much longer if they don't do anything with him. When they do the next round of releases, and if they don't do anything with him or turn him heel or do something, don't be surprised if he gets wished his best in his future endeavors.
Wow. Jake.
Sorry. I'm not, unless like I said, unless they do something with Apollo and make him interesting, I don't want him on my TV anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah, him, Ricochet. They had like some faction in Dragon Gate. Whatever, they can go reform that.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's get on to this. Yeah, I want to know your thoughts on this, because honestly, I was a little bit entertained by this, and that is the obstacle course with Bayley and Bianca Belair. So, Belair, she comes out, she's got her kind of like one outfit on, but then Bayley comes out. She's on like it's full tracksuit and everything. It's just Bayley all over. And then Michael Cole's there and he's about to introduce him. It's like, no. She was like, no, go away, Michael Cole. We don't need you. This is my show. I run this shit. So then, they have the obstacle set up. So you had the first one, at least with Bayley. You flip a 400-pound tire, then you jump over these little hurdles, then you climb the wall, climb being the right word, then Chad Gable of Alpha, whatever they call it.
Alpha Academy,
thank you. Again, I haven't been keeping up with SmackDown. This is again all new to me. Whoever is, walking across, they do a fireman's carry to like a red line, and then they shoot a hoop. Fastest time wins. So then Bayley does it. Impressive, like she got that tire up. I think she's one of the ones that does CrossFit, so she can do that. But then, she did the hurdles, and then she got to the wall, and she's like taking her time. She doesn't know what like she's doing. And then she was like, just kind of like goes around the walls. And then Chad Gable's giving her instructions, and then she lifts up. Chad Gable did the fireman's carry. Then she shoots the basketball, ends with a time 1:12. So then it's like Bianca's about to start. It's like, oh, she about to crush the shit out of this because she is the EST of WWE.
Yep.
But then Bayley's like, no, we're going to make this hard. We're going to make this EST worthy. So then they make higher hurdles.
Yep.
And then when she gets to Chad Gable, it switches to Otis.
Yep.
Literally. Okay, so she does all her stuff. Amazing. She gets to that part. It's Otis. She carries Otis in a fireman's carry. And I'm just like, damn.
Yep.
And then she finishes off. Bayley comes in, tries to, steal the ball from her, do that. She dunks it. I'm just like, boom. That's how the EST does it. And then, of course, Bailey attacks her at the end. So probably going to, not at the Royal Rumble, but at least like, and if not, we don't have a match before SmackDown. There'll be like some stuff probably that happens at the Royal Rumble and they fight in the match. But guys, I'm not really on with like Karen Bailey, but I'm liking this dynamic that these two are having. And when they eventually get into a match, I think it'll be good.
Did you say Karen Bailey?
Because the haircut.
She's got a Karen haircut.
No, I know. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. But
that's what she turned into when she turned heel. She turned Karen.
But I enjoyed this too. And man, what was the most impressive thing was Bianca Belair doing a fireman's carry with Otis and getting. And the thing was, she got across that time frame for like when she put him on her, like put him in the fireman's carry and got to that line. She got that done quicker than Bailey did carrying Chad Gable. And I think that was the most impressive thing of that whole segment for me.
Yeah.
Because Otis is basically roughly about the weight of 2 Chad Gables.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I'm thinking, I'm like, how is she going to do this? And she did it, and she did it with ease. It wasn't like it's like she did it with so much more ease. It's like Bailey struggled with, and maybe that was kind of the play in the whole thing and stuff. But man, that was just seeing Bianca Belair, who clearly keeps herself in shape,
clearly
being able to carry someone of Otis's size. It's just that was so impressive. And it's just if anything, I am pretty much just about all in on Bianca Belair because it's just she continues to impress, and I definitely see big things for her in the future.
Oh yeah, this man, I don't know if it was Bailey's intent, but this put Bianca over big time.
Yep,
I agree. I 100% agree on that take.
The EST, she showed why she is the EST, guys. I am in on her too. I'm doubling down with DDJ. Nothing else said. Boom.
All right. So, speaking of Bianca Belair's lover, we move on to the Street Profits. They are walking backstage, looking fly as hell. Then, of course, they see Dolph Ziggler talking to Sonya Deville. They got a big old fruit basket with some chocolates and everything. And they're like, when are we going to get our tag title rematch with Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode? I think they called him Bobby Roode, but his name's Robert Roode. But anyways, they were like, yeah, when are we going to get our tag title rematch? And then it's like, Sonya's like, hey, when your leg fully heals, I'll give you that rematch. But until then, we'll let some tag teams, take some time, get some shots. And then when you're fully healed, we'll get you in. They're like, okay, that's fine. And then gave her the basket, walked away. And they're like, yeah. So right now, no Street Profits rematch anytime soon, which is sad. But I think they will definitely eventually get those belts back because that team is great. And I know I didn't say it or recuperate this when we talked about it on the Junkies, and I picked Kenny Omega and Hangman. I don't regret that decision, but I definitely think I should have thought about the Street Profits more because, as Sonya said, they carried those titles for like almost a full calendar year. Basically carried the tag team division on Raw when they're on there, and then also on SmackDown. One of the top 2 teams. They had a great match with the New Day. This team, and we know that Montez Ford is going to be the star out of that one. He's going to be the Shawn Michaels in that group. Angelo Dawkins, you're still great, but you're going to be the Marty Jannetty. Sorry. They're one of the best tag teams, honestly, not just in WWE, but around anywhere. So,
right.
Can't wait to see those guys both back in the ring together.
Right. Yeah, like I said, and you said it, and I say it almost every time we talk about them. Yeah, Montez Ford is good. When the time comes, then the Street Profits are done, and they go their separate ways. Montez Ford is going to be on a giant-sized rocket ship to the moon.
To the moon.
Wow, that was really good, Spencer.
I'm sorry. Let me redo that. Hold on. To the moon.
Better. Better.
You jackass. Oh, is that all you had? Okay, sorry. Uh,
No, I mean there really wasn't much more that could be said about this and stuff. And such, you know, with that. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just Street Profits they're keep an eye on them.
okay. Let's get through this. Nobody really wants to talk about this, but you got King Corbin, who honestly he looks like he's putting on a little bit of weight. Versus Dominic Mysterio. You know, and there's this promo before, and I guess like there's this thing going on, like how Ray didn't want Dominic to like step up to Corbin, but Dominic's like, no, I got this. And I know Jovan had been talking about it with like the machismo and everything. So this is, you know, his moment to shine. Dominic's going to go out. He's going to beat Corbin his way and, you know, prove his father wrong. Nope. He gets his ass handed to him by King Corbin. He gets a little bit of offense in. But you know, once he hits that 619 or gets caught in the 619, it's all over. End of days, 1, 2, 3. King Corbin goes over. So Dominic, listen to your father.
Real quick, can we put out an APB for Buddy Murphy and Aaliyah Mysterio?
Oh Lord, why? Why?
Because where have they been these last few weeks? It's just like all of a sudden it's almost like they didn't even they never even existed.
It doesn't matter where they've been.
I don't know. I'm just saying. It's just I was thinking about it's like God, we haven't seen those two in so long.
Let that story die, DDJ.
Rest in peace.
That story, like this one that's going on right now, is just terrible.
Well, anything we keep Corbin is terrible. Let's be honest.
Well, that doesn't even have anything to do with King Corbin. There was so much, you know. This basically since Seth Rollins has been out of the equation, this whole Mysterio thing has really gone down the toilet.
Yeah, Seth had to go out there and be unprotectful again. But, you know, maybe it was one too many of the Blue Chews, the official sponsor of the PWJ Junkyard. The CWO with the True World Order. Have your little guy feeling big again, curb stomping hoes like Seth, mother effing Rollins.
Blue Chew, the unofficial sponsor of the Junkyard.
There we go. Now we're getting it now. All right. So now that we let that match die and that storyline die, let's actually get into something that's actually pretty interesting and entertaining. And that was the match we had talked about already. That was Adam Pearce versus Paul Heyman. Adam Pearce comes out to the ring. He's ready to go. He got his shirt off. Paul Heyman comes out to the ring in a suit. He's got tape. He's taping up his fingers, everything. He's about to go up the steps. He trips, and then he's like trying to get in the ring. He hurts himself, air quotes. But then he gets a mic, and he's like, "Hey, like you did to us last week, card subject to change." Out comes the big dog, and still his Shield music, but I think probably by the time the Royal Rumble hits, hopefully we'll get his new entrance music. But so basically, Roman Reigns, he comes out and he literally said to Adam Pearce at the start of the show, he says, by the end of this night, you're going to get your ass beat. And it looked like he was definitely going to get his ass whooped. But as he's going over to like the Thunderdome stage over there, a certain figure in a hoodie comes and attacks Roman. And who is it? Oh, hold on. Before we get to that, there was a great promo. I almost forgot this from Kevin Owens in his car. And he has this great story like about his tattoos and everything. And the one on like his knuckles with his grandfather's names and the great promo. So then Kevin Owens, he comes back to the, and he was like saying, oh no, you're not allowed to the ring. But then he, comes to the ring in the hoodie, attacks Roman. And then to end the night, he puts Roman through a table. KO looks strong over Roman, at least for now. But that was a great way to end SmackDown. Again, I highly enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I again, it's SmackDown rebounded from a not so good showing, and that and stuff. And again, it's clear. If anything, it just clearly shows that SmackDown is the far superior show of the two main roster shows, and I enjoyed it overall. And that, and I'm anxious to see because we're going into the go home shows for the Royal Rumble. So I'm anxious to see what SmackDown can do, and I'm also anxious to see what Raw does and stuff because we're a little bit of we're gonna probably see the return of Drew McIntyre back to Monday Night Raw. He's no longer going to be confined to his house. For those of you who get on the sites and stuff, Drew McIntyre did actually return to action, and his as part of that superstar spectacle that will be coming up on. I can see the excitement exuding from Spencer right now and stuff, but it's going to showcase a lot of the WWE talent from India, so it's going to be interesting because a lot of these guys, a lot of us really haven't seen or maybe seen once or twice,
Right.
and that.
Hold up, DDJ. You're burying the lead, as Jovan always says. Yes, we are going to see NXT talent, but no. We are seeing the return of the modern day Maharaja.
Yes,
Jinder Mahal is coming back to WWE television in that 6-man against Drew McIntyre. And maybe one day we will get Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal, and maybe Heath Slater will come back, and we will get our triple threat 3MB match for the WWE Championship.
Wow,
man!
Sorry, I dreamed too much.
Yeah, as long as you don't hinder the Jinder, we're good.
There it is.
Don't hinder the gender. But congratulations on being able to collect another paycheck, Jinder Mahal.
Yes, always looking jacked as ever.
So, all right, but that's I think all I got for everything. I think we very expensively covered everything.
You think?
I think we covered the week pretty well. If people haven't seen wrestling this week, they're pretty good for next week.
Like, literally, guys, you don't even need to listen to anything else. You don't even need to watch wrestling. Just listen to us describe it. We describe it in great detail. We don't go off the rails at any point. We don't talk about Blue Chew. Just stay here and listen to wrestling. That's all.
It's what we do.
And if you believe what Spencer just said, I'm sure he's probably got an island somewhere he can sell you.
Hey, I know this great guy from Africa. He has this big business over there. He just needs about maybe $100,000 for you to invest, and you'll definitely get it double. Put your email address in the comments, and also PayPal me $100,000, and then we'll talk.
Is I wonder if it's the same guy, African guy I know. Is he a prince from Nigeria?
Yeah, totally.
I know him too.
Okay, cool.
Spencer Cantor and DDJ are not the views of the PWJ network and the Junkyard as a whole.
Oh, man.
Back on track, gentlemen. We just wrapped up the week in wrestling. We have a roundtable to talk about.
That's right. We have a roundtable, and on this week's roundtable, this episode will be coming out before the 2021 Royal Rumble. So that's what we're talking about. Welcome to this week's weekly roundtable, all about the Royal Rumble.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year. The Royal Rumble is coming up this Sunday, because this will come out Tuesday. It is coming up this Sunday, the 2021 Royal Rumble match. 30 men, 30 women. 2 spots on the line for the main event. You need to put that in quotations because sometimes that changes. Main event at WrestleMania. So, if you somehow caught this episode of The Junkyard and you're seeing the title Royal Rumble and you have absolutely no idea what a Royal Rumble is, guys, let's just talk about it first. What is the Royal Rumble and why is it regarded as one of the WWE Big Four and a very special event that it can't miss?
Well, if you ask what the Royal Rumble is, like, are you talking about like the match itself or just?
Yeah, just what is the Royal Rumble match?
Okay, so basically the Royal Rumble match is an offshoot or like a, I don't know the right word, a spinoff of a traditional battle royal. The only difference is instead of having in a traditional battle royal, all the participants start the match, whereas in the Royal Rumble, 2 men start the match, and then at regularly scheduled intervals, another man enters the ring. Now, this match was the brainchild of the recently departed Pat Patterson, and I fully expect these Rumble matches they're going to do some kind of tribute to Pat Patterson. I may, and that. So, but why this pay-per-view is so important and regarded as one of the big four is because this is the kickoff on the as we begin the road to WrestleMania, because the Rumble plays such a huge role in WrestleMania because, like you alluded to, whoever wins the men's Royal Rumble match will go on to challenge for either the WWE or Universal title at WrestleMania. Whoever wins the women's match will challenge for either the Raw or the women's, or in the case of last year, the NXT Women's Championship. So it's very vital because you get your first glimpse as to what the WWE has planned for its fans heading into WrestleMania.
And WrestleMania is always known as the great restart. Your calendar restarts every Mania. So the Rumble is the build-up to the restart. And everyone knows, if you're a wrestling fan, this is what they call the road to WrestleMania. This is when the show happens. This is the big time. Rumble, the weeks leading up to Mania, everything in between, the whole road to WrestleMania, this is prime time for wrestling fans.
It is. It's honestly out of all of the yearly pay-per-views the WWE puts on, this is actually my favorite one. I'm a huge fan of Battle Royals. I love the Royal Rumble matches because we always get a few surprises in terms of returns, appearances by legends, all that kind of stuff. And I know when we do our prediction show for the Royal Rumble, we'll talk about a little bit about that. And I mean, I've been doing some thinking. I've got some ideas and a couple of surprises, that kind of thing and stuff. So, but we're gonna save that. I'm not gonna shoot my shot. I'm not gonna shoot my load. Well,
nice. Blue Chew official statement from the Junkyard: we will not shoot our loads early when you're using Blue Chew.
But no, I it's like I said, I love the Royal Rumble matches because there's so much. They're always fun. They're always unpredictable, and they always seem to intertwine a lot of the different stories going on, and and that. So, but yeah, I'm ready to rumble.
So to recap for those who haven't seen a Royal Rumble match, this is a 30-man, 30-woman free-for-all. Over the top rope, 2 feet must touch the bottom for you to get eliminated, and the last man or woman standing wins.
Yep. Yeah, simple as that. So that's what the Royal Rumble match is. So now we're going to break down like Rumble moments, our favorite Rumbles, our favorite matches that happen outside of the Royal Rumble, because that is usually like the main event. And then just some other stats and stuff we want to talk about the Royal Rumble. So let's start with this one. So yes, as DDJ was alluding to, there are moments that happen at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It could be actually in the Rumble. It could be before the Rumble, something. Moments that you'd be like the shock entrance, like you have the number 30. That's always the big thing. Who's going to come out at number 30? Could it be a return? Could it be a debut? Could it be a person that should not win the Royal Rumble but does? We'll get into that. It could be anything. It could be, and then in the Rumble, you could have a surprise debut. You could have a return, as I said. So let's just kind of get in. A legend. Yep. Yeah, definitely. A commentator could come in and do the match. So kind of let's get into it. What are some of your favorite moments from the Royal Rumble matches?
Jovanni, why don't you lead us off?
All right, brother. So going in the actual Royal Rumble match itself, because as you should know, the Royal Rumble is the pay-per-view name, but it is also the marquee match of the pay-per-view.
Right.
Normally you have matches that are built into the show, with the Royal Rumble being the main event. So for me, one of my favorite all-time moments in the Royal Rumble would have been in 2007. A returning superstar from injury who actually beat the timeline that he was supposed to come back, which was the big reason that this was such a shock. Let me set the field. Ring was full. Music hits. You can't see me. My time is now.
That was 2008.
Was it 08?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, in the 08, we'll do the John Cena return from injury into the Royal Rumble.
So
that was shocking.
So my first. Oh, I'm sorry, Jovanni. Were you
Good.
Okay. So actually, I wasn't thinking of this one, but you talking about that specific Rumble match actually brings me to a Rumble moment that I really enjoyed, and it was actually in that very same match. I was a little earlier. There were a lot of guys in the ring. Countdown goes down. 3, 2, 1, and then out comes. I believe the first guy to come out was one Jimmy Superfly Snuka. A little bit later, 3, 2, 1, and comes out. The bagpipes hit.
Yes.
We saw a surprise appearance by one Roddy Piper, and Jimmy Snuka was still in the ring, and we get that showdown between those two, stemming back from the Piper's Pit from, at that point, it was almost 25 years, and just seeing all of the guys that were the current superstars that were in the ring take a back seat and gave the ring to Piper and Snuka. And if you watch that match, you can clearly see one CM Punk just marking out big time during that moment. You can tell he's a fan. I was a fan at home watching that. And to me, that's something that, like I said, was just a true Rumble moment. Is just seeing Piper and Snuka get one more time to shine in the middle of the ring with all the current guys on the roster at the time. Just enjoying the moment.
All right. I'll take a moment here. I'm going to go with something a little more recent. I'm probably sure you guys might have this on your list, but I'm going to go ahead and get it out here. That was at the 2016 Royal Rumble. This was the second Royal Rumble where the WWE Championship was on the line, the first one being 92. Roman Reigns was the champion going into this match. He basically had, Triple H, Vince McMahon, that whole crew saying, no, you can't be the champion. We don't want you to be the champion. So they put, this Royal Rumble match together. There was, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was entrant number 3.
Yes, if it's what I'm thinking of, yes, it was number 3.
So Roman is in the ring. Some music hits. There's these writings on the screen, and then you see the words phenomenal. And Roman is perplexed. Got to make a point of that. And then all of a sudden, out walks the man who I never in a million years would have thought made it to WWE. That's the phenomenal AJ Styles. The first Mr. Impact before, Moose today. That man bled for TNA. Then he went to New Japan, made his name over there. Then he came to the WWE, made his arrival. And the WWE has not been the same since. He's went on to capture multiple WWE championships and will probably go in the WWE Hall of Fame when his career is over. That's a moment. I didn't see it live because I wasn't watching, but I went on record to say this. That is the guy that got me back into wrestling because he was one of my favorites growing up. So that moment when I saw, he's in the WWE, and that's where he made his return at the Royal Rumble. That's one of my best moments ever.
Good moment.
Yep.
In the Royal Rumble, as we said, it's a place for debuts. It's a place for the legends. It's a place just for those oh my gosh moments. And this one, I can't remember what Royal Rumble it was, but it was a certain NXT call-up that happened at number 10.
Oh.
And some of the most amazing planning ever. The clock winds down. 3, 2, 1, and Ty Dillinger, the perfect 10, debuts as the number 10th entrance into the Royal Rumble. With his gimmick being the perfect 10, with the fans, I think from the previous year, were even yelling 10 when, number 10 came up.
Yeah.
To finally get his Rumble debut at number 10, that was amazing.
It was perfect.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now, but I think it was either 2017 or 2018, I believe. I'm looking it up to see if I can find out for now and stuff. But like I said, you know me, I'm a huge fan of like the old school. Like I'm a big fan of the 80s and stuff. And one of the premier tag teams in the WWF back in the 80s was Axe and Smash, otherwise known as Demolition. And a really cool moment that I didn't discover until, I got the network and stuff, because back, I didn't start watching wrestling till like late 1990, early 91. And going back and watching all the old stuff, one of the earliest OMG moments in Royal Rumble history in my mind happened in 1989. And that was actually they would always do announcements, music, everything, like full-blown entrances for the first two guys. So, Howard Finkel's like, let's all find out who drew number 1. And then, Demolition's theme hits, and I believe it was Axe that came out. And then he gets in the ring, he's ready to go, he's ready to see who's coming out next. So Howard Finkel's like, let's all find out who drew number 2. Demolition's music hits again from Smash. So, for me, this one here, beginning of the 1989 Royal Rumble, your first entrance were Axe and Smash, and what made this even more interesting is at the time they were your reigning WWF Tag Team Champions.
Yep. Points to a good thing though in the Rumble. All bets are off. Normally, friendships and everything get left at the entrance ramp. When you hit that ring, it's 1-on-1.
That's very, very true. All right, so my next moment, I'm gonna go with something that happened very recently, something we never thought we'd ever see again, but we did. And that was at last year's Royal Rumble, the return of the Rated R superstar Edge.
Yep.
That crowd erupted. Everybody at home erupted. Again, this is something we didn't think we would ever see again.
People cried.
People cried. People cheered. People were excited for this because his last match was at WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta. And then he had that retirement speech, and I cried my eyes out when he said he was going because he had to retire because the whole going back then, it was like Edge had this big announcement or, wanted to speak to the ring, and nobody saw that coming. So that was a shock back then. But then when he makes his return at the 2020 Royal Rumble, and then he went on to actually have a few matches. He got hurt again. Hopefully, maybe he might be making another appearance this year. Tune into our Royal Rumble prediction show to find out. But him coming out, and he wasn't just a one and done. He had a fantastic performance in that Rumble. I think he made it to the Final 4 that year.
Final 3, actually.
Final 3. So yeah, Edge, man, returning at the 2020 Royal Rumble. I know it was more recent, but I definitely think that deserves to be on this list for sure as something like one of the best, shocking, memorable Royal Rumble moments of all time.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Cannot argue with that.
So, Spencer's going way, way early, as in the last few years. I'm going to go back in the Wayback Machine, like DDJ likes to say. Take you back to 1990. Two Titans.
I know where you're going with this.
Two Titans in the industry are in the ring together, and they don't quite realize that they're in together because at the Rumble, mess of men in there, you don't know what's really happening. But one by one, this ring starts getting cleared out, and the ring starts getting cleared out. And you see less and less people in the ring, less and less people in the ring, until it's down to these last two gentlemen. And the TV camera crew does it great. They zoom out, and you get a full empty ring with the only two people in the ring at the time, the immortal Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes, this is an excellent one.
The most amazing Mexican standoff you will ever see. Both of them looking at each other. You have Hogan hyping up. You've got the Warrior not backing down. Face paint's all smeared off because, the match is brutal. And they go at it. And they bump into each other trying to do a show of force. But both of them are hosses. Not an inch are moving. They start hitting the ring ropes, going back and forth. This was the epitome of the holy shit moment. They hit each other. Both of them fall over. These guys, of course, you get the payoff later, but this is the first time that I can remember them actually being in the ring together. And it's that moment you get up, holy crap, it's Hulk Hogan and this guy that they want to replace him. It's the Ultimate Warrior, who was at that time just mega push. And that was electric. That's one of the most electrifying moments in the Rumble, just them two staring each other down.
So, I got another one here that I didn't even think of, and then all of a sudden, I'm listening to Jovan just so and in such an awesome manner, remember this one because I watched that and just the crowd went electric for that. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go a few years after Jovanni's moment here. I'm gonna go to 1995. It's the first time that the man who started out the Royal Rumble would win the Rumble. I mean, albeit this match was the intervals were only a minute long, so I think that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But it was still pretty cool to see. But I'm not specifically talking about Shawn Michaels going wire to wire to win. I'm talking about the manner in which he won that match. Because if you don't remember. The British Bulldog was the number 2 in that match, and he actually went wire to wire as well. And there was a point in time that everybody in the arena thought he had actually won that match. In fact, heck, they even played his music, and he was celebrating like he won. And then all of a sudden, Shawn Michaels is back in the ring, gets the Bulldog with like a double axe handle, sends him spilling out of the ring. And then the bell's ringing and the ref's raising his hands, and then all of a sudden he's announced as the winner. And everybody's like, what's going on? They go to the replay, and and Howard Finkel clearly explains too that only one of Shawn Michaels' feet touched the rope. And that's where that rule came into play because it's really the first time in that history of the Royal Rumble match where, they made it, in fact, that it had to be both feet touch the floor. So, it's just the end of the 1995 Royal Rumble match when everybody thought that the British Bulldog had won, only for Shawn Michaels to return to the ring, having only 1 foot touch and actually winning that match.
Nice.
Yeah, very important. Both feet have to hit the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely was the first time, but not the only time that rule has been used. They definitely have been misusing that or been over-abusing that rule a lot in recent years. So I got another memory, and before I do that, I want to give a shout-out to the Royal Rumble MVP, the man who does not get eliminated when he's first thrown out, the man who does these incredible acts to keep in the Royal Rumble match because, remember, both feet have to hit the ground. And that is former WWE champion Kofi Kingston.
Yes.
This man has done some incredible things. He's used I think he used Adam Rose's crew to stay out of the ring to get back in. He's used a chair to hop back into the ring.
He's used the New Day.
He's used the New Day.
He walked on his hands, didn't he?
He walked on his hands. He did one. He did. Oh, is there another one?
He ran from the barrier
right
on the ring.
Yep, that was the one I was going to reference.
That was a good one. And then he did one. There was only one time he did one. Like, that didn't really look good. It was the one where he tried to do it like on the pole and like almost hit his head and his chin. They're like, don't do that one again. But for the most part, he's done good. So be interesting to see what he does this year because more than likely he'll be in the match again. But so. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kofi Kingston, but the moment I want to talk about is I was looking it up to get the exact time. So I'm going to take you back. So I gave you Royal Rumble 2016. I gave you Royal Rumble 20. Now we're going to bring it back actually kind of to the Ruthless Aggression era with the Royal Rumble in 2005. This is the infamous Royal Rumble where it's John Cena and Batista at the end. And Batista is supposed to win this. But both of them go over at the same time. So then Vince they're just like, wait, who won? Nobody know who won. So then Vince McMahon comes out and huff and puff, doing his Vince McMahon walk, and he gets into the ring and he blows both of his quads. So he's just sitting there in the middle of the ring. He's pissed as all hell, and he's just wait to start the match. So then they do it, and Batista goes over. But literally, it sucks he blew out both of his quads, but it was still, funny just in the moment because it was like this big pay-per-view, and then that happens. And then, Vince McMahon's going to come out. He says, solve everything, maybe like restart the match, whatever, whoever goes over next. And then he's just sitting there on the ground in the ring.
Yep. Well, that's a hell of a moment that, of course, is going to live on in a lot of the video packages.
Botchamania,
but one that's not in the video packages that should be, because this is a legitimate oh my god moment, was back in the 2002 Royal Rumble. Back then, they had this little show called Tough Enough.
Oh, yes.
With the precursor to NXT. And they crowned their first champion, this guy named Maven, bald-headed dude who did nothing really in the industry, which I guess nothing besides this.
Yeah.
This rookie tossed out The Undertaker in the Royal Rumble match.
Yep.
What? What?
I was just going to say, I remember, and I talked about this when we were on our episode when we just, did OMG moments. I specifically talked about this. And I looked at my best friend who was over at my house watching this with me, and we looked at each other and we were like, holy shit. Like, what did we just see? I mean, just jaw dropped everything. I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
So with like I said, this match only recently started in the last few years, but we need to definitely show the women some love in this, because there have been a few, moments with, the women's Royal Rumble matches. And I'm actually going to go to the just back a couple of years, 2018, the very first women's Royal Rumble. But I'm not going to talk about anything that happened during the match. I'm going to talk about something that happened after the match.
Yeah, buddy.
And literally, Asuka had just won the very first women's Royal Rumble. And she was, at the time, she was going to make I believe she was going to make her decision on who she was going to go after. But before she got a chance to do that,
Hold it.
Go ahead, Spence.
I don't give a damn about my bad reputation.
Oh God, I'm so sorry I didn't let you do that. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm so sorry you had to hear that. But no, we heard, the dulcet tones of one Miss Jones yet, and we hear bad reputation. I'm not gonna butcher it like Spencer just did, but and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes Ronda Rousey, and I mean, that was like wow, because there have been rumors that she was considering signing with the WWE or doing something with them. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she was actually literally flown from, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in South America or something, because she was in the process of filming a movie.
Yep.
And like they brought her in as a surprise, and she showed up at the end of that Rumble match, and really just the place went crazy because nobody saw it coming. I mean, there were the rumors, but nobody, as Spencer just, if you're watching this on YouTube, just so eloquently and stuff. But yeah, Ronda Rousey showing up after at the end of the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble match, definitely a Royal Rumble moment that will never be forgotten.
I think that leads to a good point real quick before Spencer gives his next one. The Rumble is one of the very few events where if WWE wants to keep a secret, they're keeping that secret.
Yep.
Look at the 24 hours that they did with Edge on his Royal Rumble. Everything they did to keep him a secret.
Yeah.
I'm sure, they had the same thing for Ronda Rousey. I'm sure they do the same thing for all these people that they don't want anybody to know until that music hits.
Yep.
So the Rumble is the only place where kayfabe is really still alive.
Exactly. All right. So I don't really have anything else. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we move on to talking about some non-Rumble matches people should watch?
Let's get into the matches.
Yeah. Real quick though, guys, Pro Wrestling Junkies, you're listening to this, go on our page and share with us some of your favorite, Royal Rumble moments. Cause I know we mentioned a lot, but man, there's so many more. So if there's one that maybe you think we should have talked about, please share it with us in the group.
All right.
Hell yeah.
That's right. We want to hear what you guys have to say about this one.
Because we do this podcast for you guys. We don't do it for The Rock.
That's right. So let's get into it. So we've talked about a little bit about the Royal Rumble, and we'll get into more of the Royal Rumble here in a minute. But now we're going to talk about matches that happened before the Royal Rumble, the undercard, championship matches, or, special grudge matches, or, because there's only usually three or four matches usually. Now it's just two matches now, but just a few matches that are put on the card before the big Royal Rumble, because that's the meat and potatoes right there. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to talk about matches that you should watch, and not just the Royal Rumble matches. So gentlemen, lead us off. What should the people be watching?
Well, DDJ, I have 5 of them. How many do you have?
I probably could come up with that many, so...
Okay. I say we just go straight down, 5 and 5.
So what, we each do our 5, or are we just going to rotate?
We each do our 5.
All right. Jovanni, why don't you go ahead and lead this one off as well, too?
All right, brother. We'll go ahead and get this started. My 5 in no particular order of matches you must watch in the Royal Rumble. If you have the network, look all these up. I'm going to start with Yokozuna and The Undertaker casket match 1994.
Yes.
This was incredible. As many people as it took to bury The Undertaker, this match is definitely worth watching. And then the maybe resurrection of The Undertaker at the end is something worth watching too post-match. That's a really, really great angle. And this is funny because I think the Royal Rumble may be home of the street fights, because I have 2 street fights on my list.
I think I know one of them.
The first one, I'm going to swerve you with the first one. I'm going John Cena against the Samoan monster Umaga.
Oh, that was that a last man standing?
I think it was a street fight. It was in
I think you're right.
Yeah. This is when they started to try to make Umaga look like a monster. And this is like DDJ said, Cena went over, but Umaga as a monster, he got over.
Yeah.
Next street fight, as DDJ was alluding to, the most famous street fight, man, you had Triple H, who unfortunately had the misfortune of going against the most sadistic man in all of wrestling, one Cactus Jack. That is the Royal Rumble 2000. Do yourself a favor, pull that match up. It is amazing. Now, Next one is going to be a little controversial depending on your stance on this wrestler. Me, myself, and I have always said he is one of my favorite wrestlers for in-ring talent. What he did outside the ring, I'm able to separate. If you're not able to, I understand. You don't have to watch the match. But if you're into technical wrestling, this was a technical masterpiece. One, Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit, Royal Rumble 2003.
Ooh.
These guys, mat wrestling, if you're into the mat style, the real style of pro wrestling, these two give it to you. The highest technicians of their time going one-on-one. These guys killed it. Arguably, this is the reason that led to Chris Benoit actually winning the Rumble the following year. So, once again, your feelings on Benoit as a person aside, as a wrestler, the man could work, and this match shows it. And my last one, I'm going to take it back in the Wayback Machine, just because this is, to me, I feel like the epitome of what this tag team was. I'm going with the Rockers versus the Orient Express, 1991. What's wrong?
That was one I was going to talk about. Well done. I'll give you props in that because that was one I was going to talk about. And I didn't think either of you would have that on your list.
This Marty Jannetty, man, Shawn Michaels, this was amazing. To me, it was the pinnacle of what these guys were. They were over. And if I'm correct, it was actually an opening match. And
It was the opening match.
It was the opening match to the show, and everyone knows your opening match has to be the thing to hook the fans and keep them there all night. These guys did that. Amazing match. Once again, pull up the network, 1991, Royal Rumble, Rockers versus the Orient Express. Take it away, DDJ.
Well, you stole my thunder with that first one, but man, that last one. But I appreciate someone that has as much appreciation for that match as I do. So I will give you props there for that.
Thank you, bro.
No problem. For me, I'm gonna go with my first one that I can think of. We're gonna go to 2004, and it was a last man standing match between two guys whose careers have basically intertwined, and they have these careers basically relied on each other for a lot of the success they endured. And I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, last man standing from the Royal Rumble 2004. It basically was one of the only times a last man standing match happened where there was no decisive winner because these two, neither one of them could answer the 10 count, and this match was declared a draw. So, yeah, fire up the network, watch that match. For me, my next one is going to be, I'm trying to think here. We're going to go to 2015. Was a triple threat match between the WWE champion at the time, Brock Lesnar, the man who he took to Suplex City to win that title, John Cena, and the man that was holding the Money in the Bank briefcase at the time, and that is Seth Rollins. As Jovanni was mouthing there, Seth freaking Rollins.
There you go.
Sorry. It's almost 1:30 a.m. where I live, so I'm kind of, not as sharp as I was at the beginning of this. I'm not going to whine about it like Spencer sometimes does, so.
Bloopers.
And the slow motion middle fingers come out. So that was my second match. My third match is going to be from 2017, and that was the conclusion to the phenomenal, pun intended, trilogy that one AJ Styles had with the John Cena, and that would be AJ Styles versus John Cena from the Royal Rumble 2017, in which John Cena won the WWE title. So that was number 3. Number 4 is going to be a match that I don't think gets a lot of love because these two guys, you wouldn't think they could have good matches together, but they do. And that was, we're going to go with 1995, and that would be Diesel defending the WWF title against Bret the Hitman Hart. Those two, I don't think ever had a bad match. You don't get that a lot with the classic big man versus little man match. Every time these two stepped in the ring, they had a great match. This match was no exception. We had a few run-ins during this match from Owen Hart trying to cost Bret. I believe Bob Backlund got involved as well, and then also Shawn Michaels, who's trying to cost Diesel a match. So definitely look up this one. And then my last one, which I'm really surprised Jovanni didn't mention, and I'm thinking Spencer might have had on this list, but you know what? For that slow motion middle finger, I don't give a rat's ass if this was on your match or not. But I'm going to go with 1999. I'm going to go with probably the most, judging by Spencer's reaction, he had that on his list. But you know what, Spencer?
There's the
Back
bird.
at you, buddy. They're going to go with probably the most infamous.
You monkey piece of crap. I'm going to beat you with a chair.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with probably the most infamous I Quit match of all time. A match that was so infamous it was actually featured on the documentary Beyond the Mat. That's going to be the I Quit match between Mankind and The Rock. I mean, it doesn't get more brutal than that. And and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mick's wife and his two oldest kids were sitting ringside for this. So it was brutal, but man, though, it's definitely a match that will live on in infamy in Royal Rumble lore. So
I love seeing Mick bloodied up with his kids when they were little. Like, he's walking in Mankind garb, just bloodied all to hell, and his kids are right next to him.
So, all right, Spence.
Oh, okay. You guys basically stole everything I have, so I don't really have anything to add. But I will add this. So I haven't seen like a lot of these matches, and I started watching some of them today. I did watch the I Quit match between Rock and Foley. That thing, I've seen clips of it, but I'd never seen the full thing through, so I watched that today. Yes. So unlike you guys, I haven't watched a lot of wrestling. I hope this year to watch more wrestling. I'm going to try to watch more like Royal Rumbles and these matches. So I was looking at a list, and I'm just like, I can't really talk about those. So I was going to list like AJ Styles, the I Quit, and the Last Man Standing, at least, maybe a few others, but at least those. But I've seen the AJ Styles and John Cena match because that's when I was starting to watch wrestling. And yes, the whole trilogy match they had was great, but that was definitely probably might have been their best one, if not SummerSlam. But anyways, going back, the I Quit match between The Rock and Mankind was just brutal. All those chair shots Mick Foley took to the head. It's hard to watch. And then the part where he gets thrown off into like where the electrical area is, and he looks like fried and electrocuted. Yeah. It's like, again, it is hard to watch, especially with now that what we know about concussions and everything, and especially the way Mick Foley is now.
He's still good now.
He's good, but I mean, like, taking like 13, 14, whatever chair shots to the head.
This match didn't help his career at all.
No,
prolong his career. That's the word. Yeah.
And then, of course, he had that big match with Triple H next year, the street fight. But I mean, like, yes, it is definitely an important match in Royal Rumble history. The matches that happened before the Royal Rumble. And then, as DDJ said, his first match or fourth match, whatever it was, the Last Man Standing match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels at the 2004 Royal Rumble. The match that kind of basically led up to the match, WrestleMania 20 that had Benoit inserted, who won the Royal Rumble that year. But I had never seen that match, not even clips or anything. So I went back, I watched that match, I pulled it up. Literally, those two beat the shit out of each other. Shawn Michaels, he did that spot where he jumped onto the tables, probably bladed himself. Blood was pouring. Triple H was fighting him. They were both covered in blood. He took one last super kick from Shawn Michaels to get Triple H down. Shawn Michaels couldn't answer the count, and then Triple H retained the World Heavyweight title. As DDJ said, I doubled down on that one. Go watch that one, the I Quit match. Go watch any of these matches. They're all phenomenal. I still need to go watch a few of them, but as a guy that's seen them for the first time or just even talking about them, go watch them for sure. And
real quick, Spence, just if I could interject, one of the things that I really like about what you're saying here is a lot of the stuff that Jovanni and I have probably seen many times over. You're just getting to experience for that first time, and I think that's really cool. And that's one of the things I love about the WWE Network is, you're like, because Spencer, how old are you?
28.
So you're a youngin compared to me, at least to me, and stuff. And it's always cool to see someone who's from a different generation, a different time, watch something that guys like Jovanni. I think you're still a few years younger than me,
mid-30s.
Yeah, so you're a few years younger than me, but you're a little bit closer to me in age and stuff. But like, seeing guys like Spencer, who's 28, and all the really cool younger people that we have in the Pro Wrestling Junkies group, just experiencing these matches for the first time and still being able to get those genuine reactions from matches that happened, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I just think that's really cool. So it was really nice to kind of hear, the take of someone who is just seeing these classic matches from the first time. I just wanted to say that, Spence.
Honorable mentions?
Throw them out there if you got them.
Jovanni, what do you got?
I've got 2 just because I'm a big Chris Jericho mark, so guys, forgive me. Chris Jericho versus The Rock. This was during, I believe, the Invasion angle, so that had been 2002. And then Chris Jericho versus, once again, Chris Benoit, ladder match for the Intercontinental title. When he put him in the walls of Jericho on top of the ladder.
Ooh, yeah. For me, couple of honorable mentions. One, I'm going to go with from the 93 Rumble. I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels versus Marty Jannetty for the Intercontinental title.
Nice.
It was a great match, and at the same time, there was all this kind of little bit of controversy or speculation as to whose corner Sherry was going to be in, because at the time she was with Shawn, but then the mirror got broken over her, over her and that and stuff. And it's a shame that Marty Jannetty had all the troubles he did, because he could have been so much more than he was. But, obviously he has his demons that he still seems to be fighting to this day. But man, guys, please, if you want to see a really cool match, Jovanni talked about the Rockers as a tag team against the Orient Express in 91. 2 years later, these two put on a hell of a one-on-one match. So I would definitely recommend go check that one out. And then the other one that I wanted to mention here, and I'm trying to see if I can find it here. Okay, so it seems like when we talk about a lot of great moments, guys like Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Triple H, always seem to come up, and this is no exception. Jovanni talked about the casket match from 94 and the cool things that happened after that. I'm going to go with the casket match that The Undertaker had with Shawn Michaels in 1998. Now, while that match was kind of infamous now for being the match that started the issues Shawn Michaels would have with his back that would force him to, step away for WWF for 4 years, it was still a great match. And these two are another case of guys that, big man, little man, who always put on a great match. Yes. And I think this match was good. Obviously, the stuff that they would go on to do years later at WrestleMania was better. But, man, this match was brutal. It was kind of the same thing where there were multiple guys it took to get Undertaker in the casket. But the swerve here was Kane had come out to seemingly aid his brother. Only to – that was not very good either, Spence. Would only go to turn on the Undertaker and be the reason why be the man that would ultimately put his own brother in the casket. So, but not even that. Afterwards, you see the gas, you see the axe, and you're not Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are like, "What's going on here?" And you see Kane just pouring the gas, chopping up the case, and then the casket, and then boom, the casket's lit on fire, and we're supposed to be led to believe that the Undertaker is burning inside. Obviously, we know better, and you would see, because once they put the flames out and they opened the casket, the Undertaker was mysteriously vanished without a trace.
The power of Taker, man.
Yep.
That's right. The powers of the Undertaker, now taken over by Bray Wyatt. All right. So we talked about moments in the Royal Rumble. We've talked about matches that have happened before the Royal Rumble match. Now let's actually talk about the Royal Rumble matches and what you guys consider are some of the best Royal Rumble matches. I don't know if you got a top 5 or anything, but go ahead and list them. Just going to go ahead and be honest with you. DDJ already alluded to, oh, yeah, you're kind of a younger fan. You're watching these matches for the first time. I've seen parts of Royal Rumbles, but the only ones I've seen are current ones like 2017 to 2020. And I could probably put them on there. But I'm going to let you guys tell the people because I know there's a bunch of better Royal Rumbles that happened before then. So go ahead and start out. So
if we're going to do a top 5, I think it's those that know us, and I've alluded to this one before, on previous episodes of the Junkyard and stuff. And I think Jovanni will agree with me. I think we're going to be in agreement as to what our the best Royal Rumble match was. So we're going to do that. I don't even know what you're
I have no idea what the hell that was.
For those of you listening, I did the 92 with a tear in the eye.
Okay. So, all right. So no bones about it. Number 1 for me is the 1992 Royal Rumble match, and just the star power alone in that match. I believe a third, if at least a third, if not half of the men in that match are in the WWE Hall of Fame. So that's my number 1. Numbers 2 through 5 are really in no particular order, but I'm going to definitely mention them. For me, it's like I said, 92 is number 1. It's not even close. But other matches that are in the top consideration, I'm going to go with 2004. I'm going to go with 2001. I'm actually going to go with one that 2020. The last
small guy right there.
And I'll be honest with you, when I watched that live, I was one that I really wasn't a big fan of, but it's one of those ones that every time I go back and watch it, I watch it a little bit with a little bit of a more analytical eye, that kind of thing, and it's one of those matches that gets better every time I watch it. So I'm putting that in my top 5.
All right.
For the last one, I'm going to go with 2007 as well too, because I mean, you had at the time, it was just a nice little mixture there. So like other than, and it was a lot of fun. And again, it provided a great Rumble moment at the end with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And guys, if you haven't watched it, go see for yourself. If you've watched it already, please go back and watch it again. I watched it actually right before we started recording, and it's just a tremendous match. So my 5, 92, 04, 01, 2020, and then 2007.
Okay. 95 is 92 is easily number 1. There's no way that anybody could even scratch that. That is the bee's knees. Now, going from that, I'm there with those 7 as well. I love Taker. Moving on from there, 01, I love Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Anyway.
Stone Cold.
No, that was horrible. What was that?
I was trying to be toothless Stone Cold.
That was
Stone Cold.
Now let me tell you here right now, you hear me, nigga.
Hey,
I have to take the Stone Cold.
Much better.
But man, 2020 Royal Rumble, I Brock Lesnar dominating, and then from him getting out on forward, that's in mine too.
Yep.
I don't think we're gonna vary much. I think if I have to put one that you didn't put, for me would be 06 with Rey Mysterio, just because little man winning the Rumble, you don't think you'd see that. So, yeah, that's going to be my only slight variation from your list.
Yeah, because the other ones you mentioned, I think were all in mine too. And so you know what I got to say to that, Jovanni? Great minds think alike.
There you go.
Spencer's
tired.
Spency tight.
We're all tired. When you're tired and you don't know if you can keep on performing and you need your little man to feel big again, Blue Chew, the official, unofficial sponsor of Pro Wrestling Junkies Junkyard. Blue Chew when you don't need to be SAWFT so at 1 o'clock in the morning.
2:39, but who's counting? All right. So these guys basically just told you the 5-6 with 06 added on there, the 6 Royal Rumble matches you need to see. And guess what? I've already seen 2020, so I only got to see 5 of them. So there's time. Yes, I haven't seen the 92 Rumble. Sue me.
You also haven't watched The Simpsons and still don't know who shot Mr. Burns. So
Yeah, there's been worse atrocities come out of your mouth.
Hey, but there wasn't any worse atrocities when I put some Blue Chew into my mouth.
Oh, Blue Chew. She may not look fine now, but after one chew, she'll look great.
This has been the best part of this episode. Like last week was the Jorge Conti shoots, and now we got the Blue Chew. So, we've talked Royal Rumble moments. We've talked Royal Rumble matches, the best ones. We've talked matches that have happened outside of the Royal Rumble. I think there's only one thing left to do and talk about performances in the Royal Rumble match. Iron Man's, any performances that stood out to you that are memorable. I think I can already tell one that'll be on Jovan's list because he didn't just mention it. But go ahead. Tell me some noteworthy performances from a Royal Rumble match.
Since we're running long, I'm going to keep this nice and short. The WWE right now is doing something that they're dubbing Mr. Royal Rumble. To me, Mr. Royal Rumble can only go down to one man. And my Royal Rumble performances of all time is going to go down to only one man. The only man to win the Rumble 3 times. Stone Cold Steve Austin is my pick for the best Royal Rumble entrance.
All right.
So for me, I mean, when it comes to Mr. Royal Rumble, I definitely think you can't go wrong with Stone Cold because he's the only man to win 3. But when I talk about there's a few like performances that really stand out to me, and I'm just gonna name like a couple of them. One that definitely does not get a lot of love and does not get talked about is Bob Backlund in 1993. He had just started his comeback with the WWF. I believe he was like 43. He was in his early 40s at the time. Started the Rumble match with Ric Flair. He came out at number 2 and was actually one of the last 3. So that's one that, guys, if you want to see a really good, inspirational, memorable performance, Bob Backlund in 1993. You also got to go with Ric Flair in 1992 being the first man to win, the Royal Rumble after, being in the first like 5 or whatever, I think the first single digit entry to win. So yeah, Ric Flair. I also want to talk about Kane's performance in the 2001 Royal Rumble, where he set the record for the initial record for most eliminations in a Rumble match. And he actually had me at that by the end of that match, actually rooting for him to win that match, not Stone Cold. And then the last one, and this is like the first like real run where like I noticed where like a guy was just tossing men out left and right. I'm gonna go with Diesel in 1994.
Oh.
So those are just a few. There are plenty more, but like I said, we're trying to keep this short and stuff. But yeah, those would be so Flair in 92, Backlund in 93, Diesel in 94, and then Kane in 2001.
All right.
Guys, I wasn't ready. Gotta give a shout out to Santino Marella from the 2009 Royal Rumble. Holds the record for the fastest elimination from Kane.
I think he also holds the record for joining the Women's Rumble as Santina.
We don't talk about that here on the Junkyard. We just leave that in the past.
Well, conversely, if we're talking about that, we can also talk about in Royal Rumble moment that we didn't mention, be an honorable mention, be Nia Jax competing in both the men's and women's Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
I believe that was 2000. Was it 2019?
I believe it was 19.
Okay.
And shout out to China being the first woman in the men's Rumble.
Yes.
There we go. actually talking about something that's good.
One other honorable mention for a Royal Rumble moment: Beth Phoenix eliminating the Great Khali from the Royal Rumble. I believe that was 2011.
The Punjabi Playboy.
I think that was worth it though.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on.
Eliminated.
Hold on. We got one order of business to take care of before we take this bad boy home. Since no more Blue Chew sponsorships. Calm down.
Damn.
Since DDJ just mentioned Beth Phoenix, Jovan, is Edge on the list?
Mr. Adam Copeland. My man.
Wait, I didn't hear him laugh so much. Is he on the list?
He is on the list.
All right.
I think we pretty much established if Jovanni goes, my man, he's going to be on the list.
He's going to be on the list. I'm about to swerve one day.
That's really you be like, my man. Hell no, you ain't on the list.
Oh, you ain't on my list.
Oh, hey, Jovan, is Chase Owens on your list?
My man. Hell no, Chase Owens ain't on my damn list.
All right.
Chase Owens bullshit.
See, that's the swerve. All right, guys, it has been an incredibly long episode of the Junkyard. We are over
around, guys.
Yeah. If you've listened to this, go tell us to keep it shorter. We're going to try to keep it shorter, try to keep it under 2 hours, but these guys just love to talk, and it's fine. We had a lot of Blue Cheap sponsorships and everything.
Hey, Jovanni.
Yes.
What can we take when we don't want to keep it short?
When you don't want to keep it short and you want to make sure that you don't have your 12 inches SAWFT soft, you've got to reach for the one and only Blue Chew. Gives you all the effect of the pill in a chewable form.
Yep, there we go. We got one more in. We're good for the night. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, for watching, whatever the hell you decide to do to get your consumption of the Junkyard. Guys, my name has been Spencer Cantor, also known as number 11. Join the Dark Order. You can follow Pro Wrestling Junkies on Instagram, on Twitter, and into YouTube at PW_Junkies. Make sure you check out our Facebook group, Pro Wrestling Junkies, our marketplace, Pro Wrestling Junkies Marketplace. You can find me on my socials at number 11SC. Dennis, I'm sure they know where to find you, but where can the people find you at?
So before I get into my plugs and my social media, don't forget to get your official Pro Wrestling Junkies t-shirts at www.prowrestlingtees.com/Pro Wrestling Junkies. You can find me on Facebook at Dennis Day Jr. You can find me on Twitter at Dennis W. Day Jr. And also don't forget to listen every Monday drops every Monday at 12 a.m. You can listen to my podcast, What Do You Say with DDJ?
Cheap pop.
Well, I got to keep giving the people what they want.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, you know what the people want is I, Jovanni Too Hotty, El Guapo Too Hotty. You can find me on Twitter under Jovanni Too Hotty. Am endorsed by the one and only Scotty Too Hotty. You can also find me on the Facebook group Pro Wrestling Junkies under Jovan Menacho, which is my given name. And gentlemen, just before we send everybody home, and if you've made it this far, guys, I want to give you guys a big thank you for riding with us this late. As some of you may or may not know, I lost my uncle this week, and literally the last thing that he was able to do with me while he was still a little lucid before the disease finally got a hold of him was watch Monday Night Raw. So wrestling has a way of being able to take us through things in life. Definitely was able to share those moments with him, and to everyone that knows, it's been a kind of a rough week, man. And at least I've been able to lean on some friends, watch some wrestling to kind of get my mind off of things. But it's kind of special knowing that at least that small moment I had where he was able to come to and realize that we were watching Raw was special and something that I won't take for granted. So once again, guys, thank y'all very much for having me. We got a little long-winded this evening, but Spencer, send us home.
That's right. It's been a long one, Jovan, man. I know it's been a rough week for you, but we're glad we can be here for you and help you make it through.
Always will be.
Absolutely. But hey, It's been a long one. We took our blue chew. It's time to take it home. Guys, strike the pose. As we say with every episode of the Junkyard. Junkies out. Bang.